Wire?
No.
Okay, thanks.
That is me with the hello.
God.
So you're Eric Tivier. Okay.
Loth.
Yeah, that's one of my fake names.
You have a lot of those.
Loth, I say the words, we're going live, and then you drop an F-bomb.
Okay, so the stream started on Loft. It started you responding to Loft, but him not saying it.
All right, I think there may have been enough lag that it didn't count, but gosh darn it.
Yay! I'm
Anyway.
free.
Right.
I still got my eye on you. Hello, hi, welcome to a slightly weird episode of Fail Portrayal, because
Hi, everybody.
YouTube isn't confirming for me that my own stream exists, but apparently other people can find it, so...
We don't exist.
There it is. Holy cow. Okay, now that it's live, it's like, oh, hey, this exists. Thank you, YouTube. Okay, that's a piece of my mind. All right, let me tweet this really quick then.
Also, I think they are some of the biggest. I don't know if they're for sure the biggest, because there's been some big bunguses.
There's some nonsense in Zexal. And also, to be real, the OG Egyptian gods are also friggin' huge. Like,
Well, no, the Earthbound Immortals are bigger than that, because they're the size of, like, a couple of skyscrapers.
I mean, Slifer wraps his coils around the Kaiba
Like-
blimp with rooms to spare. Like
7 times, I think.
It's-
or-
that is
true,
pretty
but
big.
That particular spider is like 5 skyscrapers big. I don't know how big that is.
Yeah, I don't remember its name, but it's huge.
Well, we'll figure out its name,
No,
because
I remember that one's name because we're going to be able to pronounce it easily.
we're starting
That one's-
tonight with Earthbound Immortals. We had a little bit of discussion back and forth, guys.
That one's
I was
Uru.
hoping we'd do Security Force, but that was a no-go today.
I mean, we kind of went back and forth, but nobody other than
Yeah.
you seemed super committed to it, and that would be a lot of work. We had a lot of talk about small stuff. Since we ourselves are getting close to opening 5D's era, the Synchro era, I figured it would be good to start us with a little bit of a light Earthbound Immortals. We'll talk about all the actual Earthbound Immortals, and then the couple of other monsters they added later. Maybe some of the spell traps, but most of the spell traps are just, here's this Earthbound Immortal yelling or shooting a beam or something. They're not very impressive.
There's at least like 3 to 4 of them I think are actually worth showing.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. Most of them are nothing.
Kaiju laser.
At least the one that gives you tokens is showing.
Okay, do you know that's name? Which one is that one?
I actually own the card. I just don't find it again because it's been fucking.
All of the Earthbound.
We should probably...
Oh.
I mean, we can...
Tribute to the Earthbound. I think.
It wasn't me. Accident the F word.
I mean, it's been like 2 minutes. It's fine now. It's just the first 30 seconds.
Damn it.
Loth going full Shaggy there. Wasn't me.
Okay, hold on.
And
Sorry.
I mean, we
Aside.
probably should do the field spell because Earthbound Immortals need a field spell. Otherwise, they die.
Quick dumb aside. I was 8 years old and that was my favorite song, and no one told me why that was a bad song to sing as an 8-year-old.
I mean,
Okay.
you do you. It's I believe one of the first ones like shot a hand and he cut my hand and banging on the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
look, I didn't know what it
it's a
was.
great song, but the context is a little loose. But okay, I'm getting
Also,
ready
the
to
music
start.
video is fucking wild.
I've never seen the music video for that one. Actually, I probably should.
So it involves Shaggy being kidnapped by basically Charlie's Angels. It's ridiculous.
Okay, but let's not talk about one Shaggy, because we're here to talk about Earthbound Immortals, and I am ready to pop in with our first one. Let me get my paint open.
Oh, I know which one this is.
So we're doing alphabetical.
Yeah.
So we're going to, as soon as it will...
This
Did we
is
not
my
copy?
boy.
Let's try that
Okay,
again.
I found-
Copy image.
I have found the card.
This is my boy.
All right, that's a little small. Let's make that bigger.
Ascalapiscu.
Oscillate.
Yes, Earthbound Immortal, Asclepiscu. So, aesthetically, Earthbound Immortals have a direct, literal theme. They are based off the Nazca lines, which are a series of geoglyphs in the Nazca region of South America, which are these bloody great, giant ground paintings of things, which you're gonna see. This is the hummingbird one, Asclepiscu. It is the orange one. So here's Asclepiscu. We can say that. And I mean, I don't actually think so. X. That's not really that impressive.
Oh,
It's a glowy rock. There's another spell trap that's also a glowy rock.
Fair enough.
I got a rock.
It's got some Tron lines on it. which makes sense because
Yeah.
it's the Nazca lines. This
Alright,
one is
but
also
back to this.
bursting forth from the ground. I don't know if it's just the scan they used or what, but I think it's actual motion lines.
Yeah.
The vertical motion lines on Oscilloscope are a little weird up close.
Yeah.
It looks like he's like suffering a weird gravity effect going down on him.
Yeah, I think
mean,
he's
he
supposed
is-
to just be bursting forth from the ground suddenly.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought like the
Nerd.
Earthbound Immortals were basically the lines on the ground converted
Well,
into a beast.
Also, I
That's
do know how
pretty
to
much-
pronounce each of these.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's pretty much how all of them come out, just from the ground.
I mean, this one's literally
Oh, yeah.
erupting from the ground. It's on the image, but you don't erupt from the ground in a straight vertical ass lines like these are.
Yeah.
That said, I mean, I don't think there's anything really to say about Oscilloscope aesthetically that's really that bad. Like, it's got the line shape in its wings and its beak. You know, it's got the actual shapes that are in the ground one. I can actually
the one
probably
that's
pull up.
actually, I will say, like, effect-wise, it's actually not bad as like a weird reverse like boss monster as like you bring it out.
Well, we're
at
not
the
talking
base,
about
supposedly.
Axe. You obsess over the effects. We're not there yet.
Okay, so
Don't bring that up until I bring it up. Because we're talking about the
Mm.
aesthetics. I want to make sure everybody gets their feelings out of the way.
I mean, it's. I just can't help but remember. This is one of the few. So I really like the first season of the 5Ds anime, and one of the reasons is these monsters are terrifying.
I love these
This
things,
one
honestly.
cuts like 5 skyscrapers in half with its beak,
Nah, they're
Yeah.
huge.
just to kill one dude.
Huge.
Yeah.
Just this one dude is running away from her, and she's like, "All right, well, cut all of these buildings in half."
I mean, I can mention because the somebody in chat asked this because the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki is anal retentive about this. I can tell you which person used what line. I can tell you shit about their decks. I haven't watched 5Ds yet.
It's the fortune.
Well, yeah, no,
fairies.
they're talking about for all of them.
Yeah.
It's
I
Carly,
remember
but
all
like
of them.
I know their names. I can't go past that. And
Oh, that's not true. I can never remember the monkey one because he's not important.
also to answer your question, how it fits with the deck they play, it doesn't.
Because
Yes,
they're
no,
Welcome to Earthbound
that's
Immortals.
That's actually the thing about Earthbound Immortals is they're a good splashable effect. I mean,
Well,
it
they
kind of fits
they
with
kind
their
of
deck.
work as a yeah, but they're not
Yeah,
they're not quite literal translations
No,
of how it works.
Because fortune fairies or whatever the fuck, it's not fortune fairies. It's the other one.
They became fortune ladies.
Yeah, fortune ladies is the when she's playing the immortal. They do have like a burn sub theme, which is what this card is for.
Let's shrink that back down.
It does, yeah,
because
actually.
I have.
Also, Oscilloscope is easily the best Earthbound Immortal. by
Oh
far.
yeah, no. Oscilloscope is the one you've probably heard of, which is why we can all say its name. Here's the actual Nazca line it's based on. I think it seems pretty accurate. It's got the weird spindly wings. They decided to let it open its beak. That's okay.
Well, there's another one I know how to say because its name is funny.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, but
the problem with Earthbound Immortals the problem with Earthbound Immortals, you will find out immediately when we list their effects, which I think we can describe them now because we don't have anything further to say about how it looks, and this will explain a lot if you don't know about them. So this is a Dark Winged Beast, level 10, 2500 attack and defense. There can only be one Earthbound Immortal monster on the field. Not you can only control one. There can only be one. If there
And
is no
also-
face-up field spell card on the field, destroy this card.
I will also say this: it can be argued that the Earthbound Immortals are one of the most important archetypes in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh's overall design history, because this started the trend specifically of archetypes being designed around field spells, because all of these needed a field spell to live.
I mean, the question is, when did Malefic get involved? Because that was also their thing. But yes, no,
that
this
was
is
afterwards.
Okay.
Malefic is after this.
Malefic's were after.
because
It's
I know
literally
it was the
season 2, I believe.
crossover. I know it was the
That's
crossover
Beyond
movie, but
Time.
Yeah, it's after this. But no, because all of these archetypes, except for one who doesn't matter because he's stupid. Sorry, Devak. All of the archetypes in this are based off of field spells.
yeah,
Demok.
no,
Devak is
Devak is
terrible.
the guy.
Yeah, English dub. Yeah.
Let's not fight over dubs v subs. But so, what Asclepioscu does besides that, because those are the things you need to know about every Earthbound Immortal monster. They will always have those first two clauses. What Asclepioscu says is, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. If this card attacks your opponent directly, when this face-up card leaves the field except by its own effect, destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict 800 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. So this is why you've heard of Asclepioscu, because if you can destroy it somehow, or cheat it out for a second, or get its effect out and then blow it up, or just return it to your hand, because it says whenever it leaves the field, you get to do a field nuke and do burn damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, this card is very good.
And I do believe that would apply to the field spell of Fortune Fairies and Fortune Ladies, right?
Yes, because Fortune Fairies and Fortune Ladies removes you from the field and then brings you back. That's
so
it does
when
actually
it
have
gets
some
summoned,
synergy
it gets
with it.
banished, and then it immediately activates its nuke effect, and then it comes back to your opponent probably has a clean board. And even if they don't, it doesn't fucking matter, because this monster cannot be attacked. And if you blow it up, you get a revenge hit. So it's a very contentious card, and I believe at times it may even have been limited. I don't think it's
I
ever
don't
been
think it ever got
banned.
limited because it's very much been a staple of rogue tier decks, but it's never quite broken into the meta.
It's definitely something you've heard about as an off strategy of, oh, you can do this blah 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 with Asclepioscu.
Yeah.
It's in a similar position to Vanamananga, where it's like it hovers around rogue decks, but it has never broken into a meta.
There are possibly, because with the Animation Chronicle this year, there's entirely possible that Konami of Japan is going to make that a regular system of like trying to support old anime cards. There are actually a handful of Earthbound related cards in, I think, Arc V that actually like show up, which are not broken at all. Some of which have been printed, but several of which haven't. And it's like, actually, some of these would be perfectly functional in this day and age. But all right, let us move on to the next one.
Yes, my favorite one to pronounce because it's silly.
All right. Let me see if I can get the gallery man for this guy up.
Because also, by reading it, there's no way you could...
Also, I would like to argue that this one probably has one of the most memey card arts we're going to see.
Oh, yes, no.
Yeah.
This one is also actually pretty good as well.
So, let me show upon the screen. It's your boy...
Omega, would you like me to pronounce?
Yeah, I was trying to think about it myself, and I'm like, wait.
So, this is pronounced two ways. Where in Japanese, they have pronounced it Kukapakapu, but in the English dub, which I will never get over, they renamed it to Cocopacquiao, which is an infinitely better and funnier sounding name.
Kukapakapu. It sounds like a fucking rapper name.
No, dude, Cocopacquiao is hilarious.
Okay, hold on. Speaking of rapper name, you see like the tiny sub sticking out of his head? Those are just the beginning of dreadlocks.
I was about to say, he looks like he's got some dreads going on. So this is Kukapakapu.
Also, yes, Q, I
Yeah,
don't fucking know what that song's called, but the Attack on Titan music, because, yeah, this is just a Titan.
Yeah.
But yes, no, Kukapakapu was played by Colin Kessler,
Yeah.
who, fun fact, because of how 5Ds is stupid in one way, didn't run a archetype field spell because he was playing Infernities, and I don't believe they have one.
No. He was just in a speed duel.
But because he was playing a speed duel, he was playing the field spell Speed World.
Therefore, it can never be destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe that the one people most commonly associate with Kukapakapu is the... Well, that's a big one. Hold on, let me shrink that down. This is the
It's
Nazca
the
line, literally called the Giant.
Yes, so it is the giant.
Hey, so...
Look at that man. He's just sitting there vibing.
Yeah, whereas Kukapakapu is just like, give me your toes.
This is the Nazca line you've probably seen because this is part of endless conspiracy theories about aliens. Specifically this one, because, oh god, it looks like an alien.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's even sometimes referred to as... It's like been referred to as the astronaut, I think.
Yes.
Like, it's a weird one. But yeah, so... Aesthetically, as much as there are some jokes to make about Kukapakapu, I think he's fine. Like, I like the blue. He's got a strong blue and black vibes. The single eye thing on his face is actually quite intimidating in this style of giant monster. FGO has several enemies that look like this, you know? Like, this is just Angramanyu.
I just realized.
What's up?
Swapping them around from right to left. The one where it's the Nazca line itself is, "Hello, ma'am. Nice to meet you." The Yu-Gi-Oh card is your son calls me mommy too.
Also, I would like to say, if I was better at Photoshop, I could. Let me pull up the paint. I could like edit this man's head to fit in Kukapakapu's hand, and he's just, "I'm crushing your head."
This is also just literally just give me your toes.
Yeah, no, like this is just that meme of like if I was really good at Photoshop, I could just redraw his hand to stick outside the border of the Yu-Gi-Oh card, and he would just be coming at you.
Like, despite its simplistic design, I actually do think this is probably one of my favorite arts of the Earthbounds, just because
they managed to take a very
imposing.
Yeah, they managed to take a very silly geoglyph and turn it into actually. Now this is a motherfucking monster. Like, this is a giant humanoid who's gonna crush your face or your city.
Kocopakapu is indeed the Chad of the Earthbound Immortals, because I believe he has 3,300 attack.
3,000.
3,000. Yeah, he's the blue eye stat line.
Yeah, he's got the blue eye stat line.
Yeah, just speaking about this one, in terms of like this one is supposed to be like the sort of like it's supposed to be the astronaut / giant thing, but it sort of reminds me as being the cooler, bigger brother of Zushin, the sleeping giant, which is a very, very different card. And you can't even summon it because you need 10 of your own turns.
Yeah, no. This card is pretty sweet because it can
yeah,
it's just Wingman.
Yeah, it's Wingman but bigger.
So Kukapakapu has the whole thing, but your opponent's monster can't target this for attacks. This card can attack directly. And then if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict damage equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. So you can just attack directly, or if your opponent has monsters, you can flatten them to get extra effect damage in as well.
Yeah.
He is a Bungus.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
But next one.
The blue and black is just cool.
Yeah, no, I think he looks pretty good.
This is definitely, like, Oscar Lepiscu and Kocopakapu were starting out strong. Now let's get to the next one.
Oh, right, that one. Another one that's pronounced in the same way as,
yeah.
It's probably...
Well, this one's a little bit tricky.
It's probably the last one we're doing, because the one that was my childhood is the bird, which is... I own that metal tin, and it's probably the last one. It's, yeah.
You mean Rio Rosca?
Yeah, Rosca.
Yeah, the condor. Because technically we've done the hummingbird already. To clarify for people who aren't familiar with either Earthbound Immortals or the Nazca lines, yes. Axe is referring to the one based on the condor.
Yeah.
And we'll get that.
Let me pull up this boy.
I also know Rosca's not actually that good.
No.
Oh yeah, no, this guy makes that noise.
This is where it gets a bit...
So, how this is Romanized, how the Japanese is written is Kokaraya.
It's Kokarahua.
Yeah.
Kokarahua.
Yeah.
Kakarahua, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's not... That'd be the English version of it.
Yeah.
So Kokarahua.
Yeah. Because it's got it does have the hua sound
in
I will be real, this one...
Because these are all based off of... I'm not just doing it... This is not just a bit. These are based off of South American lines. Therefore,
yes.
The
and their names are usually taken from like the Quechua language and stuff.
Like Oscar Lepiscu is very definitely
South American, yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe Kukapakapu was taken from like the word for like king or monarch.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, spoilers. Guess what? This guy just means lizard.
Yeah.
In the local language. This is Earthbound Immortal Lizardman. Is that your name, age, and occupation? Or is it name, sex, and occupation? Lizardman, and Lizardman?
Hold on.
Yeah.
I discovered... Yes, Axe?
No, go.
Oh yeah,
I'm posting a picture. this is what that guy reminds me of.
I think this is the only Earthbound Immortal that actually ate someone.
I mean, he's got the mouth for it.
He's honestly the person that makes me feel like
Alright.
he's the one that actually
Okay.
roars.
He was the one who ate, I think his guy's name called Sayer
like
or
Godzilla.
something.
Also because Roar of the Earthbound Immortals is also it's his face card.
By the way,
Also,
dear Alamy, get fucked. This is a geoglyph that I could look at with Google Maps on a fucking satellite. You're trying to give me watermarks, but there's not a lot of good pictures of the lizard.
Also, to say, this was played by Misty. Played Misty for me, who is crazy. And she was a reptilian deck user. Funny enough, her boss monster was way bigger than this card. Which was Evil Dragon Anata, is what she actually. That's her.
Yeah, no, that's the big one for reptilians and shit. That's a big one.
I mean, Anata, the Hindu serpent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was a religious cult leader.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Misty was.
You can
Misty-
see the problems.
Misty was a celebrity inducted into a religious cult. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
in Japan,
That actor actually did
Yeah,
that.
it's
no,
No, not
other
hers.
actor
It was
was-
Carly's
Carly
VA.
was.
But no,
Okay.
yes, there was some unfortunate real life shenanigans in Japan right
Japan
around
has
the
a
time
cult
of
problem.
5Ds, which caused a interesting surge. And yes,
It's less a
Japan
cult
has an
problem and more of-
actual.
Terrorism problem.
I mean, but it's a cult formula thing. It's not like how we think of cults in the States. It's a little bit different. It's what people thought Satanic Panic was about, but Satanic Panic was actually bullshit.
Yeah.
So I immediately forgot how Dallas pronounced this.
Kakaraya?
Kakaraya, yeah.
Or Kakaraya. Or what?
Like a Kukapakapu.
All right, Loth, if you're gonna
Yeah,
be
it's close.
racist.
I like that song. Okay, fine. But anyway,
I mean,
The context of the Americas. Anyway, this is a reptile, a dark reptile. Oh, I don't think I remember what Kukapakapu was. What was his?
can you damage eagle reptiles this?
He was being dark.
Yeah, he was a fiend. Okay,
He
they're all
is
dark.
Fiend, yeah.
I mean, you'd have to
They're-
take 2800 to do damage equal reptile.
Yeah.
I
But-
mean, that might happen.
But so he's got 2800, 1800. You know, usual stuff. Field spell, can't be targeted for attacks, can't target directly. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, except its own effect, destroy cards on the field. So it's a Black Rose Dragon, basically.
Yeah.
Actually, it has the same attack stat, doesn't it?
It's 2800. It's not bad.
I think Black Rose Dragon, I think at 24.
Yeah, that's 2400.
Okay, all right.
But,
But
looking,
yes, definitely that aspect.
but it's-
looking-
it is the opposite of Black Rose, so having the effect.
Anyway, that's not important. That was a
Sorry.
trivial observation. Loth, what were you saying about the looks?
just looking at this guy, and I'm just looking at him, and just like he has to crane his head so far down if he wants to look at the ground,
No.
because his eyes are pointing upwards.
His
Yeah, no.
eyes do not do this thing justice.
And the other thing I wanted to say to people in the chat, because they can't see the picture I posted, is if anyone here has seen Digimon, he looks like fucking Caramon or one of the pre-evolved forms of Diaboromon from the Digimon movie.
I don't.
Oh
Digimon
yeah,
at
no,
all.
it looks like his rookie form. Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God,
posted
what's
it in the progression chat.
God,
so-
I guess the Digimon is your childhood. I guess.
Yes, no, it was.
But yeah, so this is a thing. We've kind of skipped over, other than me going blah, the aesthetics of this. But yeah, so I gotta say, this giant lizard doesn't look super great. His shoulders are weird and bony. I get that he's got freaky long fingers. That is true to the glyph.
Yeah.
His
I-
head is not
he-
as pointy as the glyph's is.
This guy looks like he's a. Oh yeah, sorry, Axe.
No, don't stop yourself. But he's the weird one where I feel like if he was in motion, he's creepy. I think that's more the aesthetic they were going.
Yeah, probably. If you saw him wiggling those fingers, you'd be like, ugh.
Yeah, I was
Also,
about to
just-
say
he doesn't look like he has a spine. But yeah.
with the wiggling fingers part. If you ever seen that meme or GIF of Adventure Time of the like deer taking off its like
Yeah, deer fingers.
hooves?
Yes, I have seen that episode.
Yeah, he looks like he's gonna do that.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
His feet are a little weird, because notice how far up his little heel toes are, but also his feet. Like, I think Axe had a good angle on him by saying it doesn't look like he's had a spine. You're right. This guy looks weirdly bony but boneless. Like, he's so stretchy and flexible, but also has so many, like, hard joints. It's very unsettling.
I take all of the Immortals as in they don't actually have a spine. They're just basically made of weird magical earth.
Well, they're
definitely
they're made of sacrificed souls. Like if you see any of them get played, it literally plays like a clip of souls being.
Oh
sucked
yeah,
into
because
their,
one's made of entire
like, chrysalis eggs.
Right, because one's made of an entire South African village.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
Oh yeah.
No,
Weird shit.
5Ds gets very unnecessarily grimdark a lot of the time.
Yeah, because it turns out one guy got tricked into summoning the thing that kills his entire village.
But yeah, so I think that definitely at first blush and some of the details are still quite derpy on this guy, but he does still have a decent creep factor.
Yeah.
You would not want to see him burst forth from the earth, you know?
Well, it also does help that he's like 10 stories tall.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. We should, you know, you can actually see, I think, let me make sure my cursor's shown.
I believe he is the second tallest of the Earthbound Immortals.
Let me, y'all, zoom in on that. Look at that. Those are buildings. I'm pretty sure those are supposed to be buildings.
Yeah.
Kukapakapu, it's hard to judge his size because he was summoned literally in the middle of a desert.
True.
Yeah.
So, I think the biggest is Uru, which we'll get to.
Yeah. But, do we have anything further to say about Karahuaya?
He's an annoying. This is an annoying card.
Oh yeah, no, because if you get rid of him,
you can recur it. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Because luckily, Konami weren't animals, and you can special summon these cards. So
yes, they don't have special summoning restrictions. Their main thing is just you can only have one on the field. So if your opponent has one, it's not like a kaiju. You can't do both. You need a face-up field spell, or they destroy themselves, but they can't be targeted for attacks, and they can't attack directly. It's honestly good that you can only have one, because if there was a way to like special summon a bunch of them at once, you'd lose. You'd lose the game.
Yeah.
They would OTK you.
Yes.
But all right, if we've had enough of this man's, it's time to move on.
Yep.
So let me pull
yes, to another one that is really fun to say.
Whoops, I forgot I'm not on.
I believe we're doing the fish next, right?
The whale, the purple one.
Oh, I also yeah. I just remember like I've only ever seen the first wave. I've never actually seen.
This is the only one I actually
card.
consider bad.
Or like the.
You mean the second?
There's new ones that look like Earthbound Immortals that aren't just Linewalkers or like Linewalkers.
Nope.
This is the only one I would actually consider bad.
I got in a rotation of the wrong menus. My bad. Okay, so this is the actual Nazca line on this boy, the Wahale.
Yes.
So to be fair, he looks a lot like his Nazca line.
Also, this dude sounds like food. I'm not gonna lie.
Even down to the kind of expression he has.
This guy's name sounds like food, and it's funny.
Right, pronounce it for me.
This the one that was like,
Chaku Chalua.
wasn't this the one that was like the dark dramatic irony one?
Yeah, Chakachuru.
Yeah.
Chakachuru.
Chalua.
Yes.
Right. 'Cause I
Chakachuru.
remember. I remember actually watching that duel in the anime. When
This
I was
is
a
a
kid.
fish, by the way. It's even though it's a whale and should probably be counted as aqua, it does have the fish type.
Yep. Because they're.
This was played by Greiger,
Also.
who I think the deck he.
Are you sure that was pronounced Greiger and not Grieger?
Could be either one.
Yeah.
Grigori.
You don't need to pronounce.
He was,
and he
It's
used
like
a,
Krieger but with a G.
He used a Turbo Dark Sea deck, which I don't think has ever been made. Yeah, no, these aren't real cards yet. His entire archetype doesn't exist yet.
Oh, the turbo one at least.
It's like Dark Sea Rescue, Dark Sea Float.
Yeah,
Oh, right,
this
was
was.
he
Well, I
like
mean, this
a-
was the reactor guy, but yes.
Yes, and then he also played arguably the most powerful monster ever played by a 5Ds character, so he had something at least. Dark Strike Fighter. That card is
yeah.
broken and unfair.
Wasn't he like a rescue worker or I can't remember?
He was just a duelist.
Okay.
He's a duelist. Yeah.
Yeah, and he
I
got
think it's someone else then, yeah.
lynched halfway through the show
So
Considering that he didn't
by
want to be a cultist
by a
anymore.
demon spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spidley. All right, so the whale. I mean, I get what they're going for. Like, it's got kind of like some orca coloring, but with purple.
I hate its teeth. Its teeth bother me so much.
Yeah, I they don't really bother me. I do feel like, especially compared to the lizardman up there, like I'm like, okay, that guy wasn't super intimidating, but at least you knew his teeth were sharp and pointy. This looks like a soft rubber toy, right?
Honestly, to me, this one is the one that looks the most creepy because it literally just looks like.
It looks like. Hello? Oh, no, okay. Discord's freaking out. Sorry, stream.
Its teeth look like they're melting. And also it could swim through the ground, which was funny.
All right.
Yeah.
It looks like it's made of goop.
Yeah, no, this one is really creepy in motion. I second the chat. This one is... Look, the first season of 5Ds is great, and you should just watch that and pretend the series ended. And everything would be better for it.
What your boy Chaku Chilua does is, once per turn, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal half this card's defense, but it can't attack during the turn you activate this effect. While this card is in defense position, your opponent cannot continue their battle phase. So basically, you want to try and get it in defense position, and then your opponent is locked out of the battle phase, and then you just Rampart Blaster them slowly to death. Which is dumb, because they just need to play their one combi of MST they're allowed, pop your field spell, and he goes away.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're playing an Earthbound Immortal deck, you should probably be playing Field Bear.
Yeah.
At this era, yeah, probably. Because this card came out in real life in, 09, Ancient Prophecy.
I do think like 5 of the Earthbound Immortal duelists actually played Field Barrier.
That would make sense for them to actually, like, not die immediately.
But then also, they're main characters, so they never get any removal spells.
It's true. Only villains do that. Only villains play removal. Heroes just get their asses kicked until they get their super ultra mega out card.
No, they always have like one
Weird
staple
removal
card.
Like-
Like Yusei had Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Jaden had a Hero Arrives.
So what does that say about us if we all play removal so much?
I mean,
know
we
how to
play removal
Yu-Gi-Oh.
because we play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
we
we
play
know how to
real
play
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh. That's what that sounds.
We're not
That's what
awful
that
at this.
If any of the actual Yu-Gi-Oh protagonists took their decks into a match, well, one, like 2 of the Yugi and Yu-Gi-Oh would both be disqualified because their decks are each like 300 cards apiece.
No, they magically change. They're magically more.
Like Jaden would win because he just has the God of Fate on his side and can do anything.
He just plays all the actual modern heroes.
He
and
draws
wins.
all these. His deck is full of hyper-specific cards that only work in one scenario, but he has every scenario covered.
Yeah, he just finds the right card. Before we go further, does anybody have anything else to say about Whale Boy?
It's in a card art. It looks awful.
Yeah. I like the design, that's all.
Alright. Then, let
Yeah,
us...
no, its effect is also bad. Like, this is the only one I would actually consider bad.
Let us move on. Monkey. Return to Monkey. I'm going to take a shot in the dark. Is it just Kusilu?
It's Kusilu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not hard. That's not hard to figure out.
Oh my god, there's no way you're going to be able to pronounce the next one. No
Probably not. Now, this is another interesting one, because, now hold on, I'm going to have to resize this assuredly, but it's based on the Nazca line for a fucking monkey. And it looks exactly like the design of Kusilu here. He is a monkey. He is giant space monkey.
Monkey.
Yeah.
Honestly, other than that, he also has... Karawa has, weird wiggly hands. He's a monkey. It's okay. He's a giant monkey. Like any other aesthetic thoughts than monkey?
It looks like it will grab you and crush you and then throw you on the ground.
Kusilu is a card that could be a part of very degenerate combos. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. So, what he does then, since nobody jumped forward with a new aesthetic call, is if this card would be destroyed by battle, you can tribute one other monster instead, and if you do, have your opponent's life points.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, this is a 2800 beast, and your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. So you have to attack some monster they have through some method, which I'm sure you can set up, but it is not as easy as it sounds, but it is interesting. You can only do this on your turn, which naturally encourages you to do freaky dumb loops that are bad.
So, fun fact about the field spell that went with this card, which was, oh god, what the fuck was it called? Closed Forest.
Yeah, Closed Forest.
Which is all beast-type monsters gain, this entire deck was relying on forcing people into attack mode and forcing them to attack him, because he did a thing that you can do, which is, whatchamaffucking-call it? Do a loop where you put two monsters that say they can't be targeted for attack, so the only thing you could attack is this on the field.
Yeah.
And then cards like Final Attack Order.
Yes, because this guy actually played an ape deck, some of the cards of which we will see later in our card bank because they were promos. Closed Forest, Ape Fighter, Rainbow Boon. But yeah, no, it's Monkey. It has an interesting effect, but it's definitely kind of weird and sideways.
Yeah, it's an effect you can work with, and honestly, just the fact that it is a good stat line to Earthbound Immortal is good enough.
Yeah, it's got the 2800. It's got a decent body.
Okay. Actually...
Also,
next one is
you're wrong because I can pronounce the next one because it's 3 letters.
Oh, no, I was joking. I was joking.
Yeah,
I was joking.
Okay. I think just one last thing, just aesthetic-wise. It looks like it was getting ready for a fight, like, about to punch those things into fists.
Let them fight!
This was summoned by Devek, which is the dude who sacrificed his village that Axe keeps thinking is the other person.
Oh, yeah, the Bargain Bin Odeon.
He's a unimportant character that gets beaten by the two most annoying characters in this entire anime.
I mean, he's playing a literal Return to Monkey deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets beaten by Lua and Lilin, or whatever the fuck their names are. I don't care.
I remember a duel where you say...
Actually, you just don't want to say you confuse the only two black characters in this show.
Oof.
Oh, there was more than one?
I mean, that's a good response about a Japanese anime. There was more than one black character in this anime?
Technically, there were 3, but one of them just changes skin colors depending on what scene he's in.
So you have also probably seen this Nazca line before as well. This is a very famous one, the Spider.
The Spooter.
This is Earthbound Immortal Uru. He is Big Spodder. I mean, I think my only thought immediately, though I will say because of its like low slung body, like the blue fire and stuff, makes it a little hard to make out some of the details. I would say it could probably use a slightly different perspective. My one thought immediately is, I mean, I know it's got the forward prong things, but the head doesn't quite look like the Nazca line look of the spider, you know? But other than that, I mean, it's a giant, weird black and red monster spider.
Also, this one is massive. This is the biggest of them.
I will say that is something that is probably a downside of the card art. This doesn't give you a good idea of the perspective at all in the card art.
No.
But I would not be shocked that the spider one is the hugest.
Yeah, because it's used by the... How do I phrase this? It's used by the person they thought was the protagonist. I could show you a picture of it.
Well, I think the wiki says it best. Was the primary antagonist of the Darksiders arc until losing his second duel.
Yeah, that's a skyscraper there.
Yeah, so Dallas has that image.
I like to think how like the giant spider and they also play spider cards which weren't that bad in some cases.
Spider was a weird zone.
There are some real good, but this Uru actually is a very good card.
I don't know. Yeah, I think Spider.
I mean, there was Spider Mother and shit. Like there was a strategy to the quote unquote spider cards. It's not a very good one though. It's very much aligned. There's a Dual Logs video on this actually recently. But anyway, so what Uru does is Once per turn, you contribute one other monster. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of it until the end phase. So yeah, it's a brain control or change of heart type effect. And it's got a 3k stat line. Like, it is a big boy insect.
Yes, no, he is which having a 3k butt is actually very important for the deck that he was playing, because he was playing a spider deck which revolves around putting stuff in defense position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And the other thing I wanted to point out is if anyone here remembers that Pokemon Claydol, he looks like fucking that.
Oh yeah, kind of like
Yeah.
that with a mix of Magnezone.
Yeah.
Well, I believe
Sorry.
that...
Most of my oh, sorry, Omega.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Most of my aesthetic things I've been pointing out have been, hey, this looks like blank. But when you look at this guy in particular, and especially his head, I can just see Claydol the Pokemon.
I mean, I would say that is definitely an aesthetic direction some of these have gone, because that is the Dogu are a earthenware figure from the like prehistoric Japanese Jomon period, which a lot of Japanese people watching anime would know. So I expect that's
I
why
don't,
they've
because
slightly redesigned. Like, you
Omega,
guys can
the
tell.
words you've just said are nonsense words.
Well,
what?
Dallas, if I tell you when the Jomon period was, you'll get it. Jomon was the historic period of Japan from 14,000 BC to about 400 BC. So basically, everything in Japan before people wrote stuff down.
Ah,
Yeah.
So-
But they're from in there somewhere. But that would be a thing that is in, like, Japanese museums, and probably the Japanese school children watching this TV series would recognize and be like, oh, that's fucking old. Which is probably why the head is designed that way, as opposed to looking more like the actual Nazca line design.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of one dumb Corone quote, which is Jomon Doki Doki.
It reminds me of like the head reminds me. I don't know if you guys mentioned earlier if like I spaced out or not, but like there's like a certain Pokemon that has like the same kind of. Like,
Yeah,
Oh my
Loth,
God!
Loth just brought that up. That was
Oh
that was
God,
what we
Loth,
referenced. You
Axe.
did space out, Axe.
you just. I'm so glad this is recorded.
I don't know if I space out proceeds to exactly list a thing that was the literal previous topic of conversation.
That was chef's
I mean,
Alright.
that happens.
Okay, hold on.
I'm gonna go lay
on.
my bed in shame.
What?
Hold on a second. What the fuck is wrong with
What?
the wiki? Okay,
What
so
now?
apparently,
Yeah, there's two different tabs that you're listing. Yes.
no, Chalua is listed as indigo. That was definitely more purple than indigo, because indigo is blue purple.
Oh yeah,
and
this one list is purple.
this one is listed as violet, which I'm like, wait a minute. Let's put this on screen.
That's red.
This is crimson.
Well, no, not
This is
that
red.
one. This new one. This one's pink.
Oh yeah, I can.
Rosca, like, I don't think Rosca's a violet purple.
Violet is. I could get
it's
violet.
a shade.
off it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being limited. Yeah.
I mean, but
Because there's-
compared to Chalua, I'm like, no, that's not how this works, guys.
Yeah.
Was this
Well,
a
no,
canon thing?
Chachachulua is definitely purple. Violet, I could see for that, but Chachachulua being non-purple is.
Yeah,
blasphemy.
they call it indigo. I'm like, what? No.
No.
Anyway, so this
so-
is. Oh gosh, how do you say this first bit?
Wirakokaraska.
I will probably just say Rosca because that's easy.
I only
Wirakokaraska.
remember. I only know how to say Rosca.
Rosca. I'm probably gonna say Rosca. just
It's
for the sake
based
of
off of the Incan god of the sea, and the
Interesting.
sun deity.
it. So this is also a winged beast. This one only has
Interesting
100
bit.
attack and 100 defense.
There's an interesting bit about how like because it's also a sun deity, there is like actual I think like Incan and Mayan synchros. And,
Well, yes, no. This dude, the dude who plays this is Roman Goodwin. That
Yeah.
name might sound familiar. Rex
Oh,
Goodwin, sorry.
Yeah, Rex.
Roman was the last
He's
one.
the
yeah.
last dude's brother, who was
Yeah.
dead, I think.
There's a weird
Which one
thing
of them was dead? One of them was dead at the time.
Roman was dead. Rex was
Okay.
killed by his brother.
Look,
And they came back as a dark
5Ds is not very good at story writing.
So basically, Rex got his brother to kill him in a duel when he came back as evil because that's how it works.
And then he cut off his hand for some reason.
Because he wanted to get the powers of both the Crimson Dragon and
He was
No,
obsessed that he basically was
was-
a signer that didn't have a sign.
5Ds
burp.
is 5Ds is to Yu-Gi-Oh what? Oh god, what the fuck was that show?
It starts
The
cyberpunk
isekai
and turned into
anime.
weird. It,
Um,
Which one?
The really dumb Grimdark one.
A lot of them.
There's a few of those.
No, like the really dumb one.
Redo of healer.
No, that's not Grimdark. That's
Maybe.
something else.
Okay.
Like it started with an A.
Yeah.
Oh, Arthurfredi or Iferretti. I know what you're talking about. I know.
Arufureta, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
no. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is the
Okay.
Arufureta of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, where they put a
Okay.
bunch of dark, edgy shit for no
Okay.
reason.
I like,
Okay,
by the
so-
way, I want to throw this out there. This guy, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki lists Earthbound Immortals as support and anti-support to themselves because you can only control one. Like, people are going to be playing the Earthbound Immortal mirror match.
I mean, I have played.
I mean,
full
I am going to be
Immortals.
splashing these. Yes, I'm going to be
I
splashing
mean,
these at decks.
if you get them, they're usually
Oscula-
secrets.
I will trade for Oscar. No, they're mostly ultras.
Well, yeah,
except
they're
for-
high rarity.
Except for the two big. Ironically, this one, who is one of the worst Earthbound Immortals, is a secret. Because he's the
believe
big
Marv-
Bossman's guy.
I believe Marv has been trying to get a word in.
Type it.
What were you?
Okay.
So, reading its effect really quick, because it's a wing beast. It is a level 10 still, but it is 100 attack, 100 defense. This card can attack directly, blah, 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 all that stuff. Normal summon. Target 1 to 3 cards you control, but not more than the opponent has in your hand. Shuffle them into the deck, and then discard the same number of cards from your opponent's hand, or as many as possible. And if you do, this card gains 1,000 attack for each card discarded. So, this is the Hand Ripper one, and I believe I have heard Rosco mentioned as like a weird sideways like upgrade, similar to how you can like tech in Osculapiscu for some weird shit. Like I heard people be like, I've mentioned people mention, oh, you could do something weird with Rosca. It's not the best Hand Ripper, but people have talked about it. So aesthetically, yeah, because we did kind of talk about it. It looks very similar to the Condor. It has very long tails, and what Martha said in chat is something I was going to bring up earlier when we were thinking about the aesthetics is its tail is so long, it's still in the blue fire in the ground, so its tail looks like it's on fire.
I love this thing a lot. I've made it also because I owned the box tin where its art was the metal cover.
I mean, like aesthetically, this is definitely one of the better ones because it's got a very dynamic shape. It's got a lot of extra lines that make it look very imposing. It's got that little like extra fluff ring around its neck, which is very cool little detail.
Yeah, it looks cool. It still looks like it's got that weird gravity effect going on where it's like trying to push it into the ground, but it actually does look pretty neat.
It's got dynamic like action because it's like reaching one leg forward to grab and crush.
I mean,
So
Yeah.
a dumb
we're-
story
we're-
about this thing.
Rashka, Urira Kokorashka is a decent card, but it's not quite as generally applicable as Osculapiscu or...
I remember in the anime it having like 4 different effects and it not being.
Yeah, this has...
Yeah, it had in the anime it had extra boss effects as well.
Earthbound Immortals suffer from Egyptian
Yeah.
God syndrome pretty
Yeah,
hard.
it's just all like reduced by
It ha-
1. Reduce life points to 1, and then you can't attack that turn.
Which works if you're facing 4 people at once and they all have 4 life
3
points.
people
Yeah.
at once.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, the best ones, if we're going to be real, the best two are probably the bird and the lizard. Simply because even if your opponent outs your field spell, they still have an effect.
Yeah.
If your opponent-
They both nuke the board on leaving.
Well, if they leave by an effect other than theirs, which means that if they remove just the field spell, they remove it by their effect and go away.
That's true, but it's
that-
pretty easy to blow them up in response.
Yes, you can do lots of things to be like, okay, well, we're gonna chain something and we're gonna get out there.
I
Torrential.
chain your MFC with like I don't know,
Torrential, like
some kind of
Yeah.
tribute spell. Oh yeah, no, this was the era where synchros were a thing. So yeah, I synchro summon with this.
I play a level 1 or something, or level 2.
Yeah, I play glow up bulb and I go into one of the giant train cannon things.
Oh, right, that.
All right, so this first card we're gonna show next. Actually, let me double check when this came out. I think this is way later. Yeah, shockingly, Earthbound's getting their own special field spell is way fucking later. So the first thing that comes up for them, I think, would be would be a man I'm about to show you. By the way, I want to throw this out there. There are still several both unused Nazca lines and also one that was discovered later. You may or may not have seen fan art of a cat out there. That's a relatively recent discovery, but there are...
I haven't seen that
There's
one.
a serpent one, but that was Ame only.
Well, but I mean, in real life, there are several unused Nazca lines. There's a tree. There's one called the heron, the parrot. One's just the spiral. There's a flower, for instance. A pelican. One that's just what's called hands. It looks like just two weird hands. So if they ever wanted to bring them back and enhance them, they could absolutely make more Nazca line monsters, or Earthbound Immortals, that would be accurate to the theme, but also could have modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Type effects.
Yeah.
Honestly, if they made one that had Omni of the Gates, that'd actually be like kind of fitting, considering.
I mean, I don't think that would probably be too much, because then it would be like, okay, well, what do you do about the field spell? Because if you can't out an Earthbound Immortal, you lose. If it's got an Omni Negate effect, then you die, unless it has a stat line like Rosca.
I want to read more of like. No, that's fair. Unless they made like an Xyz Earthbound sync.
I mean, you could make it so that it could send send a field spell to the graveyard and have to destroy itself to get a negate, so you'd have a 1 Omni Negate effect.
It also probably have a destruction effect too.
Or just a 1-turn negate, maybe.
No, yeah, 1 turn negate, or on summon.
Yeah, a 1
So let's bring up the original support monster, Linewalker, who's not an Earthbound Immortal, but is Earthbound Linewalker.
Yeah.
It's an okay card.
This looks like a shitty Doctor Doom cosplay.
It is.
Yeah, so aesthetically, this guy's not very impressive. He's got Rosco behind him.
Like,
is he wearing like a full body? Is he wearing a full body stocking, or is that meant to be weird baggy?
I am doomed.
Let me double. No, there's no alternate artwork. So yeah, no, I think he's. I mean, I can see part of his face. I assume his skin is supposed to just be black, maybe, but no, there's definitely cloth lines on his arms. No.
Yeah.
So he has dark colored face skin or a metal mask or something, but is also wearing a full body stocking under a tunic with white gloves. By the way,
and it's maybe his legs.
Doom shoots as he pleases.
Yes, no. This is hardcore Doctor Doom vibe.
I honestly image like 5 of these dudes in a circle chanting.
No, this actually looks like Doctor Doom mixed with Magneto.
Kinda.
He's got a Magneto cape, yeah.
And the Magneto colors.
Mm-hmm.
Just inverted.
Yeah.
I don't really.
I
what
am
else to say about
Doom.
him.
Welcome to die. Wait a second.
And what Earthbound Linewalker does, and he is a fiend. He is a 4-star Dark Fiend with 1200 attack and 1900 defense. So it's clear what you're supposed to do with him. His effect is very simple. Earthbound Immortal monsters cannot be destroyed by their own effect. So while he's on the board and he sticks, your Earthbound Immortals can survive without a field spell.
Right.
They just have to run over a body with 1900 defense or 1200 attack in order to get it.
Yeah.
Again, he also works as a tribute, because sometimes you're using him as tributes.
This is a tribute.
I mean, yes, he works as a tribute, as you can normal summon him, but then your opponent has to have not flattened him for several turns.
Fair enough.
Like, you can bring him out and then tribute him if you've got a field spell up. He's an interesting piece of support, and I think considering he came out in the OG time period, he was absolute power force as a secret rare BT Dubs. So good luck with that one. But
why?
At the time, he is a decent level of support for 2010 Yu-Gi-Oh. You know?
Why is he a secret rare? Ugh.
Because he makes Earthbound Immortals work. I don't know.
he adds on to Earthbound Immortal shit. Also, I'm sure it's because it's an anime big boy card. Now there's a arguable retrain of him.
Clearly, it's waifu tax.
Now there is like I said, an arguable retrain of this man. But I have to find his card art now because Greater Linewalker, as I'm about to pull up, is way later. He and the field spell were released in 2019 in Legendary Duelist's Immortal Destiny, which is one of the bad guy packs.
Huh.
So let's pull him up, and you may be immediately struck by the difference in art style and art influences. Here's Greater Immortal.
Is this gonna make me hate Konami's art again?
I don't know for sure, but you can clearly see what they're doing with this art, Dallas. Yeah.
I have become the Nazca line. It's on me. Look.
I mean,
Yeah.
he just looks like he literally just looks like the character from the anime.
Yeah, no, that's what he is. He's just that guy. He's just Godward from the anime.
It's like It is just literally just Roman
His-
Goodwin got hair transplant.
Yeah, his anime hair just went wild after doing that.
Also the golden hand and like he's wearing it on the lines of the body. It just like it honestly just looks like the other cultists if he like got full of the
Yes,
power or
the
some shit.
Darksiders do dress similar to that. The Darksiders all look stupid.
They do.
They
They
do.
They
look like
really
a
do.
cult-
Like,
Yeah, so this is
because
Greater
the
Linewalker.
best part about it is, and
Wait.
this is, I don't know if they did this on purpose,
This
but
is-
it's the dissonance of watching people dressed in these dumbass cult robes just walking around in normal society. Being like, hello, fellow humans, I am normal. It's a thing. But yeah, no, this art is bad. This art is really bad.
I don't think it's terrible, but I think it's just kind of. Alright.
I mean, the problem is that you can tell what it's trying to do, and it's like that's not even like funny. Like this is just a dude from the anime, but as a card now. Like
Wait,
this is
hold on.
this is like
But they didn't want to go all the way.
Sexual
so they-
Utopic Future or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this is just
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
you're just the anime character, but a card
Well,
now.
unlike that, where the Sexual Utopic Future is a card that they played, this card was never played in the anime.
No,
Yeah.
this is
Also-
a way later support card.
This is not even funny like fucking Kaiba, man.
What is this?
Yes, no, this isn't even. This is bad.
Sorry, I was just getting some things. out.
Damn it, Schrodinger. For you would have beat me to it, but for me, because of latency, I beat you to it.
This is a
So
shameful display.
what Earthbound Greater Linewalker does is he is a level 8 fiend. He is 29,900 attack. If you control a synchro monster and have synchro monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can add one Earthbound Immortal monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. If an Earthbound Immortal monster is summoned, normal summoned while this monster is on the field, you can make your opponent's life points 3,000. You can only use each effect of Earthbound Greater Linewalker once per turn.
Oh,
So
okay,
this guy
so you-
basically sets up the OTK with the Synchro variant. You Synchro summon monsters, you get to special summon them, you can search or get out of your deck, recycle an Earthbound Immortal. If an Earthbound Immortal is normal summoned, your opponent's life points are set to 3k. If they don't have any immediate response and it's one of the ones with 3k
Yeah.
attack, it's game over. But unfortunately, that's not necessarily what you're going to do, especially considering who this guy looks like. I don't think he works with either of the Godwin. Well, no, Uru has 3k. You could do this with Uru, I guess.
Yeah.
I do have Rosco sadly.
Rosca would require some extra setup.
Yes.
Because Rosco, do you have to like this? Discard.
You have
cards?
to, you have to bounce cards you have, send cards you have back to the deck, spin them back to the deck to just make your opponent discard to get it 3k attack. And they have to discard at least 3 cards. So if they don't have 3 cards in hand, you're fucked. So there is then one more mainline Earthbound card, and then there's a couple of Earthbound adjacent cards I want to hit really quick because we've only been going for just under an hour. So let me pull up the field spell, which is called Earthbound Geoglyph.
I think this was also similar.
I don't think I've actually seen this effect.
It's also very new. It came out in the same set.
Because Omega, do you know what the actual Earthbound Immortal field spell is?
Tundra?
No,
Is
it's
it
called
spiders?
Mausoleum of the Emperor.
Oh yeah.
Mausoleum's a good one. They're also
'Cause,
they're also all level 10, so Mound of the Bound Creator works for them, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, Yeah,
Mound of the
Mound
Bound
of the
Creator is a
Creator.
really weird card that basically is for every single version of Yu-Gi-Oh's God cards.
Yeah. Anything
what'd it
level
do?
10 or above.
I'll read it in a second. I'm trying to hunt down the card art of Earthbound
but
Geoglyph here.
specifically in the era that they're released, they did actually see a little bit of play with Mausoleum of the Emperor, because you can just go, I pay 3k. I now have something on board that you can't destroy. And
2K.
You can't hit over.
2k.
Or 2k, right?
Yeah, it's 1k for each tribute. So this is Earthbound Geoglyph. Now, this does help give you the scale of the Earthbound Immortals, as these are city blocks being Earthbound Immortals. Also, I
Yes,
do think it
no.
is interesting and relevant that they choose to print Osculapiscu on this. That is the hummingbird Nazca line.
That's the one you're going to be summoning.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. But what this does... Sorry, I had some extra tabs. Like I said, there were actually some, like, actual Earthbound, the Earthbound servants. There were, like, Synchro and Fusion monsters added in Arc V, which I think would be okay to print, possibly with some slight edits. Maybe next time they do a duelist pack or something. But, Geoglyph. Here, let me pull up the full card. Okay, so this is a field spell, Earthbound Geoglyph. While any level 10 monsters are on the field, this card cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. You can treat one Synchro monster as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of an Earthbound Immortal monster. If a Synchro monster is special summoned, except during the damage step, you can add 1 Earthbound Immortal spell trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Earthbound Geoglyph once per turn. So yeah, this is a 2019 field spell. It does like 4 things, all of which are vital.
It's pretty good.
So Omega, there is another Earthbound Immortal support card. It's very integral to a deck with all Earthbound Immortals working.
All right, we might just pull it up with the actual text to talk about the rules, because most of the card art is just Earthbound Immortal does a thing.
Yeah, it's called Tierra, Source of Destruction. That's how you make an Earthbound Immortal deck work.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what's that card do? What?
Shuffle 3 level 10 cards with different names from your hand or the field and deck into extra deck and special summon it.
Oh, okay.
If you special summon it, shuffle all of your opponent cards into deck.
So, what Mound of the Bound Creator does is level 10 or higher monsters in the field cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. If a level 10 or higher monster destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, the player who controls that monster takes 1k damage. When this card leaves the field or is destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 divine monster from your deck to your hand. So it's arguably a god card support because of that last aspect. It's, you know, Mound of the Bound Creator. But it works for all these, you know, big boy level 10 god card type monsters. So, I'm not averse to mentioning that card, Dallas, because we're going to pull up a couple of Earthbound
That actually
Sideways
is, like, I did run a Earthbound Immortal deck, and that was a card I ran in it. Because, if you're running one-ofs for most of the, most of the thingies, it works really well.
I assume you're running at least two Oscar.
You run 3 Oscar Lepiscu, 3, Chaka Chalua. You don't run Rosco at all. Sorry.
I mean, it's fair.
It's not good.
It's finicky.
Not,
I mean, hand ripping is not bad, but it's definitely not when you're trying to combo them.
By the way, you don't run the Earthbound Immortal field spell.
Because
you just run Mausoleum of the Emperor because it's easier.
Well,
I mean, that's fair.
Okay, hold on, wait.
Nice, yeah.
Okay. By shuffling 10 other cards with different names from your hand field into the deck or extra. I mean, I don't think Dallas. I don't actually think Tierra does what you think it does. It has nothing to do with.
No, sorry. You do that because of your extra deck. Because it is a level 10 monster.
Tierra isn't a level 11 monster?
Wait, what?
Are you sure you're thinking of the right card?
card then. Nope, I'm thinking.
Tierra, Source of Destruction, cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by shuffling 10 other cards with different names from your hand and or field into the deck or extra deck, and cannot be special summoned in other ways.
Okay, I don't know what 2000. Ignore me. 2000 and whenever I made this deck, me is dumb. Ignore me.
I'm not shocked. So let's pull up a card that is technically related to Earthbound Immortals because it has Earthbound Immortals in its effect text. Behold! 100 Eyes Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Blarg.
It's a weird mix of shit, yeah. But it does look like it's made of...
dragon.
It does look like it's made of Earthbound Immortal goo.
I don't know about that part. It has nothing to do. You can't. This is a level 8 synchro. You can't possibly make this with Earthbound Immortals.
No. I meant just like it looks like it's the same droop, like the droop on the bottom of its face.
Okay. Yeah.
And like
this...
the black.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 100 eyes, but it's like...
Wait, Earthbound Immortals have an in-archetype feather duster? That's funny.
Yeah, oh yeah, actually,
I think a lot of
see
weird
the eyes.
Yeah, they're all. Its eyes are all over it.
First
Only one
I
of them
thought it
looks
was
super
just
eye-like.
orbs. Yeah. The
But they are
rest look
definitely.
like orbs.
Yeah, they definitely have like irises and pupils, but only
It
the
looks
one
like-
of the ones on its chest has a white.
This
He
looks
looks like he has
the...
chicken giblets.
This
on
looks like
his,
the love child
neck.
of Thousand Eyes Restrict.
Oh yeah, it's definitely in that vein. So, in the anime, I'm gonna assume this was a dark synchro monster because it requires 1 dark tuner.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is how most of those got translated to the real card game rather than make you fuck around with the levels even more. And it has the literal blue eye stats, you know. It's a level 8, it's a dragon, it's a synchro with an effect. You need 1 dark tuner and 1 or more non-tuner phenotype monsters. So play a level 4 tuner and Linewalker, I guess.
Yeah.
Once per turn, you can banish one level 6 or lower dark effect monster from your graveyard. Until the end phase, this card's name becomes that banished monster's and replace its effect with the banished monster's original effects,
Yep.
which is pretty scary.
Also, if you're using the field spell, you play effect off this thing and then you switch it into an Earthbound Immortal.
Well, yeah, because when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, add one Earthbound Immortal monster from your deck to your hand, which is why it's related to the archetype.
Yeah.
It's
So you can cycle between them.
This
Yeah.
is really the way. Yeah, it's just how the character got his Earthbound out.
yeah. It's not super integral, but if you were playing Earthbound Synchro, it's not the worst.
Yep.
Especially
I mean,
because I think your
Earthbounds
other big
don't-
options are the two cards we're about to pull up, the
Yeah.
Sun and Moon, the Inca stuff.
Earthbound Immortals don't have a lot of extra deck options. Cause
Yeah, you can't
unfortunately,
Xyz.
because- Yeah, you can't Xyz. You can do some link stuff with some of them because there's some pretty fun stuff you can do with linking and Oscar Lepiscu specifically. That's mostly like shenanigansy.
Honestly, if you could Xyz at these things, that'd be kind of fun. But that's just
Nah, you can't.
Yeah. They have some fun anime decks, but they're bad. Most anime decks are.
All right, so
Also, I'm pretty sure Rex Goodwin played just a bunch of illegal cards.
probably he had.
Yeah.
Like he played. I know he played Change of Heart.
He had villain card. He had villain power.
He's just like,
Time.
I have Change of Heart now.
He had-
yeah,
he had villain
also
powers, yeah.
had the flare card, which you could just send back to his hand.
so these
Oh,
are
yes,
we'll round these
Sun-
out with the
Inti
Sun and Moon Dragon.
So
Oh,
are we gonna bring their support cards in because they actually have specific only used tuners? Because that was a great idea.
We can. We don't have to. But if you really want to look at Fire Ant, Ascator, and
Not
stuff,
really. They look awful.
Yeah.
They're too dumb looking tuners.
But basically, this was the main deck that Rex Godwin
Rex
used.
Goodwin used.
The
Rex
the
Godwin
Incas.
is one of the worst
And
worst antagonists in terms of deck building.
So,
Because that
and
is
I
a
mean,
mismatch.
obviously, with the way that Greater Linewalker is phrased, right, and the stuff on Earthbound Geoglyph, they're clearly calling on you to use monsters like this to try and get your Earthbound Immortals out. It's really not worth it, though.
Yeah. Well, also because, to be fair, most of the archetypes that the Darksiders were playing are Xyz, or not Xyz, I'm dumb, Synchro.
Yeah. It was the Synchro era, so it makes sense, but not. It's kind of a slightly added thing. Now, not that these monsters are super awful in their own right, their primary thing is that they require specific tuners, which is usually bad. And I don't think you can substitute them. So, Moondragon Quila is the smaller one. It's a level 6 Dark Synchro Dragon.
But,
It
like, if
requires-
we're going to be honest, probably the most functional of the Darksider decks was, what's his name, Gregor's, just because, I mean, Stall Burn works. It just works.
Yeah. But so, Quilla requires Supe and one or more non-tuner monsters. It's a level 6. If this card is targeted by an attack, or targeted for an attack, gain life points equal to the attacking monster's attack, so you can't lose battle damage. If this card on the field is destroyed, target one Sun Dragon Inti in your graveyard, special summon it. So if it gets destroyed, you can loop into Inti if it's already out.
Okay.
Inti is a light dragon. Synchro, level 8, 3k attack, 2/8 defense. It requires Fire Ant, Ascator, and one or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is destroyed by balance set to the graveyard, destroy the monster that destroyed this card, and then inflict your opponent damage equal to half that card's attack. The monster had on the field, so this obviously punishes your opponent if they, get even a regular monster and, just flow out there. Oh yeah, there is Supe Duskwalker, and the other one.
one's like Dawnwalker.
Let me see if I can actually pull up that list of those.
They're still, they are just support for like, hey, let me get out this tuner faster.
I mean, we can definitely compare the thing they got going on.
And they are sort of like the discard one card, the tricky effective special summon.
But yeah, we can bring that up in a second. So where was I on Inti? Yeah, so basically Inti's primary effect is basically if your opponent makes a monster big enough to get over it, which is honestly a labor in a lot of decks. They take big damage, so like don't double limit removal to get over this. Watch out for honesting over this, you'll take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
If this card on the field is destroyed, during your standby phase next turn, target Aquila in your graveyard, special summon that target. So, this card is obviously meant for the two to, like, loop with each other, which honestly isn't awful, in terms of getting them out. The only problem is that I don't think they synergize very well. If, for instance, what's-his-face, the Fire Ant was a level 2, then you could be like, okay, I sink for Aquila. All right, I play Fire Ant. I sink for Inti. No, can't do that. The levels don't match up. That, I think, would have been a lot smarter.
Yeah.
But obviously, these were designed after anime plot lines first and, being good cards second, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, it definitely suffers from first season antagonist deck disease. Of some of the cards have to be like reprinted because if they had their real effect, they would be broken. See Maximilian Pegasus.
OG Toons were fucking dumb. There's a reason why he literally did not release them to the wider card pool.
Yeah.
Did OG Toons too?
There are a wide variety of tunes that are made later. Tunes would be an interesting episode. I don't think it's on our list. It would be very weird because it's talking about lots of other monsters, but in the tune style.
But what did the initial anime tunes through?
You
they
can't.
were untargetable.
Yeah, you can't target them while Toon Word's on the field. They can't be destroyed. Like it's very bullshit.
Right, and then no one had removal cards. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pegasus,
Nobody
like, I
had
made this
MST
tweet.
didn't exist yet to just get rid of Toon World. And if it did, I'm sure Pegasus would play Mystical Toon Typhoon or something. If you try an MST Toon World, you die.
Yeah, all I remember is that, you use some sort of spell arrow cartridge to blow it up.
Oh yeah, shell shattering arrows or something.
All right, so we can also talk about the retrains of those two tuners. Or
those are
main
actually
effects.
pretty good.
These actually look cool.
Yeah,
Mine
these
is
have these are decent modern artworks. Like they're not over designed or anything. So this is Supe Duskwalker and Ascator Dawnwalker.
Yeah, they
are level 5s. You can discard a card to special summon them from a defense position. You can then special summon a Supe from your hand or deck for a Supe.
They're the full combo.
You cannot special summon from your extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except for Synchros on Supe, and then Ascator is the same. It gets you... So basically, if you have these guys in hand, you can ditch a card, you immediately get to special summon them, and then special summon the appropriate tuner, and then go into the Inca Dragon.
So it's actually not bad of a combo to do it, because it's actually a one-card combo.
Yeah. It just uses some resources, but... once you actually do all that nonsense to get them out, the two Inca Dragons aren't crazy bad because they loop each other.
Yeah.
So
as long as they are,
you can do some interesting things. You can definitely make the Inca Earthbound Immortal deck. I don't know if it's actually that cool or anything.
It's not that great.
No, the problem is the Dark Signers decks honestly have there's only one that's really worth playing.
Reptilian, or fairy.
The only one that's any decent is Reptilians, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, Reptilian has a definite strategy that over the years has gotten consistent support.
I mean, I guess Infernity also, but has nothing to do with his
You just
deck.
don't play the Earthbound, you just play Infernities.
Yeah.
Infernities have their own decent boss monsters.
Like, I do think that Fortune Fairy / Ladies Field Spell has synergy with Asclepiscu, but other than that, I don't think the decks are very related.
Yeah.
Well, also, unfortunately, Fortune Ladies is bad. No offense, Loth.
It's a very annoying
They
deck,
know
but I
they're
think
bad.
Loth knows that they're not great, yes.
I like them too, but that's just because I owned the cards as a kid.
I also like them, but...
I mean, Loth will play them.
Although, for
They're
some
bad.
reason...
I know that.
For some reason, that deck is... The AI for that deck in Tag Force is surprisingly good.
It's probably to compensate for the fact that the cards are a little lackluster. Okay, so
Yeah.
we've only been going for just over an hour with some added ones. So we are gonna break out.
A biggest favorite.
I mean, it's not my favorite, but I do actually really love the aesthetic of what we're gonna bring up for our second half, SUBTERROR, because SUBTERROR has some classic dungeon crawler ass vibes that some of you may not be familiar with, because the only card from SUBTERROR you may know is the first one I am going to pull up, which is, you may have heard of, Guru Control.
Isn't like Lilith like Angel? Is it Angel of Demise or like Demon of Demise? I can't remember.
No, that card is not not a SUBTERROR.
Oh, okay.
You're not thinking of the correct one. There is a Lady Demon SUBTERROR, but no, I don't think anybody. I like, you might use her in the tech with Guru Control because she involves summoning SUBTERROR monsters, but no, she's not super well known as a tech. But I
Okay,
need
I mean,
to
doesn't
search.
she directly reference SUBTERROR?
Who?
Or no,
What? I think you're wrong.
Lilith.
No.
Okay.
The card you're thinking of is Fiendus, who's just
Oh,
Fiendus.
okay.
And technically, we should probably. Let me think. So there's the SUBTERRORs, right? Those are the. Okay, actually, no, this works out. So SUBTERRORs are very interesting. There's actually two groups of them, two separate lines. I'll explain this because I know a little bit about this deck. There are SUBTERROR Nemesis, which is the normal-ass humans and others who are fighting the SUBTERROR monsters, because there are also SUBTERROR Behemoths, who are huge, horrifying boss monsters. Guru, who I am attempting to pull up the card art for. Is this full? Is this a full card art? Open image, new tab. Let me see. Yeah, okay. So let's start with the card you've probably heard of. Guru. The reason, by the way, why pure SUBTERRORs are not played is because they're a flip monster deck. But here's SUBTERROR Guru. He is just SUBTERROR Guru. He is not a behemoth nor a nemesis. I'm not entirely sure what that means in the greater lore. I don't think it's commented on, but he is
I mean,
a
he's
SUBTERROR.
a monstrous humanoid, so yeah, maybe.
It's entirely possible as we go through the designs that he may be related to some of the other big boy SUBTERROR monsters. So, SUBTERROR is coming out. SUBTERROR Guru is a level 4 dragon flip effect monster. He has an attack of 1600 and defense of 1800. His effect reads, flip, you can add one SUBTERROR card from your deck to your hand, except SUBTERROR Guru. You can target one other face-up defense position, face-up monster on the field, change that monster to also this card to face-down defense position. This is a quick effect if you control another SUBTERROR card. You can only use each effect of SUBTERROR Guru once per turn. So, I don't know the exact details of Guru Control, but I assume it means that you get something like, I believe Fiendus can special summon herself by, yes, during either player's turn, you can reveal this card. You can send this card to target a sub-monster you control, negate the activation, change that monster face down. You can special summon one SUBTERROR monster from your graveyard. You can use each effect. So I assume you use just some other SUBTERROR stuff to get him out there. And then he has a quick effect where if they're on the field, he resets the thing. And even if it's not a quick effect, you can just flip him up and then be like, hey, I flip your monster face down, I flip me face down. Guru is okay in the actual core deck, but he has some degenerate nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just how it goes.
Guru can be not okay sometimes.
Honestly, I feel like Garo probably there to look at if we saw it in comparison to the other ones first, because
But he is kind of, as somebody said in chat, kind of the one who like leads the other ones. So I think it's good to start out with him because you've heard of him. And as Axe pointed out, he does kind of blend the two aesthetics because he is a monstrous but a humanoid. Speaking of which, let's pull up the other big one because she is a big part of the support. Let's actually pull up Fiendus.
and she's like, and then Fetus I think is like in the sort of context of it, she's like the general antagonist of the thing.
Hey, oh my, would you be able to post those in chat?
Yeah. Dallas is on his phone now, so it's fine. All right, so let's pull up the card art for... I like how you struggled to at me there. Okay.
Look.
I mean, it's on
Phones-
the phone.
So here's Core Fiendus. I will also post that to the channel. So this is regular Fiendus. Now, Fiendus also, interestingly, does have a
Monster form?
behemoth form, yeah, which is their only link monster. It is
Yeah,
also
that's what I
interesting to
remember,
note that as a monster, as a regular monster, despite being called Fiendus and being very clearly a demon girl, she's a spellcaster. She's an earth spellcaster. Don't ask me how this works. I think it's because I don't know why they chose to call her Fiendus. I think the translation in Japanese is like Yoma, like apparition or earth spirit or something. I
mean, I think it's because the horns and like the hip wings.
Yeah, but she is, very clearly,
Casting spell.
has those demonic aspects, but is a spellcaster, because sure, that's fine. So, and then her Subterror Behemoth form switches to being a Wyrm.
Should you go full Tiamat or something?
Kind of.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Let me recenter this real quick.
Yeah, it's literally just her. She embiggened herself.
Yeah, she turned herself into her monster form.
So, brave people, would you still do it?
Lucky would.
Okay, so here's our 2 runs. This gives us another look at the art style, right? We have slightly monstrous but normal humanoid form here, with these glowing green glyphs that occur a lot on both forms, and then the other form is big stonking monster.
Here's a dumb thing, but isn't Mystic Mine from Subterror, or is that just
No,
blended with the aesthetics together?
no. I think those Subterror has its own field spell we may look at.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably play Mystic Mine in Guru Control because your opponent can attack you. But yeah, so here's the aesthetics things we got going on. I mean, Fiendus is clearly a modern design. She has a very clean look to her lines. She's got a lot of extra little details, like you notice how she's got like a little green line on one of her horns that shows up in one of the horns of her, on the lower side of the horns of her giant form,
Yeah.
She's got like her little back wings grow to be full wings, but they have a different color palette. But lots of little detail stuff. Got the little bauble things on there. She's got the Ahage, the idiot hair, on both forms as well, so you know it's her.
Yeah.
Her shiny glyphs transfer over.
Yes, I also wanted to point out her little coin belt.
Pendants.
Yeah, her
Hair
little pendants,
coins, like her medallions.
Yeah, she's wearing those as a belt in the normal version.
She's got more armor as a dragon, but I think it's just because it scales.
Yeah, I think it just stretched to scale the parts of her. Because she is actually wearing, like, blue is her natural, like, skin tone, so, like, she's got the boob plate with, like, a deep V-neck, but she is actually wearing, like, pants with those accents.
Like, yeah,
and has arm
She's clearly the inferior dragon mama.
She's wearing magical spats,
Although,
yeah.
Can you guys hear me, or am I?
Yeah, you're
Yes.
fine. You're on it. You're on air.
Yeah, we can hear you.
But yeah, no, this is after Konami descended into full anime mode.
Oh yeah, well, and I also think that because Subterror, like some people are saying, oh, Monster Hunter the archetype, like I do think Subterror has a very like old-fashioned JRPG dungeon crawler look deliberately.
Oh,
You'll
yeah,
see
no.
this when we get to some of
No,
these big boy monsters. People at home.
Like Fiendus is literally not the Subterror form as much, but the original form. I'm like, that's just an anime character.
Oh yeah, no, this is like I think Axe said it best. Subterror Fiendus, the normal one, because she supports either end, is like the little annoying gremlin character you run into at first, and then like.
Turns out she's the one plotting all the monsters' plan to destroy the world.
Yeah, or something.
the
Like,
dragon
she's
dance,
actually
yeah.
the secret boss, but you think she's just the first boss at the start. So what Fiendus does, normal Fiendus, is she is a 1-star spellcaster, Earth, 800 attack, 500 defense. But I mentioned this before. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, target one Subterror monster you control, negate that activation, or negate the activation, then change the targeted monster to face-down defense position. So if you have a face-up Subterror, you can flip to face-down. She has a hand trap. You can target one face-up monster you control, change it to face-down defense position. If you do, special summon one Subterror monster from your hand or graveyard in face-up or face-down defense position. So she can also special summon herself and stuff to the
I believe
field.
you do play her in Guru Control.
Yes, I'm not sure on the wording of her effect, but it does say you can special summon a Subterror from hand or grave, so I assume she kind of helps you loop Guru.
Yeah.
So you can do his negate effect as a quick. And you can only use each effect of Subterror Fiendus once per turn. So Fiendus is a generic support for both ends, for both the Nemesis and the Behemoths, of just she helps the deck go.
She do good.
And you will see her a lot if people are playing pure Subterrors. Now, Subterror Behemoth Fiendus, the big one, is a Link 2 with 2k attack.
Oh, only 2, okay. Huh.
Yes. And she requires exactly 2 flip monsters, so you can't Link climb with her.
Wait.
So so you need to.
You need
you have
Subterrors.
Yeah, you need to be doing your
But
thing.
here's the thing, my friend. Gains attack equal to the combined original levels of the Subterror monsters used for its Link summon times 100. So if you
Those
use
are
the
big
Nemesis, who are like usually 3 or 4, it's nothing. If you use the Behemoths, who are huge, this gets quite beefy. You're looking at
Yeah.
like
Honestly,
probably double
is she
800s.
is she an early era Link monster?
Let me double check. I think so.
'Cause
Let me see what's
I'm
released.
gonna say the effect
Yes.
feels a little underwhelming.
This
no,
is
that-
this is 2017 in Circuit Break.
Okay, yeah, no,
So,
that effect is
first wave.
definitely like. I mean, it's okay, I guess.
Well, that's her first
mean,
effect. During your
it
main
gets pretty
phase,
big.
you can send 1 flip monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 monster from your hand and face down defense position in a zone this card points to. She's got 2 sideways angles there.
So wait,
You can only use the effect
so
once
this
per turn.
doesn't specify Subterror.
No. You send a flip
So you
monster.
can play this. What you're saying is I should play this in my Ghost Trick deck.
Oh, yeah, no. This is generic flip support Link. You can only use this effect once per turn. Once per turn, if a monster this card controls is flipped up, add a flip monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So she only gets her attack boosting effect if you're playing Subterror, but her other effects are just generic flip effect adds.
So Dallas, I think you found a new like a mid boss for your.
Well, I
Ghost
can
Trick
like
deck.
take out things that are not like.
Okay, that's actually funny.
So to
that-
chat, if Guru has a behemoth form, it's not been revealed yet, but if they wanted to do some extra support for these guys, I wouldn't be shocked if they did Big Boy Guru.
Make it even more degenerate.
That would be very funny, for sure, for them to reference the fact that Guru is the one who gets played the most. But yeah, no, Behemoth Fiendus is just a good generic support Link.
Now, unfortunately, most flip decks are dead, and the one flip archetype that's in meta aren't monsters. So, whoops.
But if flips ever did come back, Behemoth Fiendus would be a great generic support for them.
yes, if flip decks ever made their way out of Rogue,
If only the game wasn't so fast that literally if setting a monster didn't mean you lost
well,
the game.
well, actually, technically, there is one flip deck that is above Rogue, dude, and it's Guru Control.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Modern Yu-Gi-Oh, everybody.
all right. So let us pull up our first. Oops, that was save, not copy. So I shall copy. Let us reveal Earthbound Nemesis Defender. And yes, by the way, the Subterror Nemesises have these names: Defender, Archer, Warrior. So yeah, no, these are your 3 classes you pick, guys. You can
It's
be
a-
Defender, Archer, or Warrior.
You
It's a
want-
guy
you
playing a
want the
Minotaur
range, or
being
do
a
you
tank.
want the-
He is a
Okay,
Beast
but where
Warrior,
does-
so yeah, he's a Minotaur.
But where does Gunlance go?
Well,
Doesn't exist
this
yet.
is more
They
for
could
Jared
though.
to do,
They could put him in there. Also, by the way, as Marth pointed out, they have a monster for all kinds of levels, and Fiendus is one. You can absolutely play Reasoning in this deck and get some funny shit.
Yeah.
Reasoning goes into some funny decks.
Subterror Reasoning. What?
Oh, God.
Where do I go? What do I do? I call
Yeah,
4, I
like-
guess, so you don't get Guru.
It's
Oh
like-
fuck! You've summoned a 3K monster.
it's
Oh
like-
shit!
You just
Oh,
put
shit.
all the
Oh,
levels
shit.
in there.
Oh, shit.
Reason is just like
Whoops.
take your
isn't- isn't-
poison.
Isn't the idea of the Subterror is that you basically walk out a hallway and the random monster spawns and it destroys you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind
Oh,
of.
shit, I walked through the
Like
hallway.
they're face down, so they're. I think another good feel would be the Labyrinth game from Duel Monsters season, where just some shit's face down. You don't know if you want to poke this card. It could be a horrifying monster, or it could be Nemesis Defender, who is a 2K wall, and he looks it like. Just look at this man. He has a huge shield and a teeny tiny hammer.
Yes, this,
Look at that
this
big
man
ass
has
spike.
this man has 2K wall written all over him.
So
What do
I
you
want.
do?
This is actually a
That's it.
thing I want to point out before we go on there. So like Spiral, because they did come out at a similar time in the Dark Illusion. Dallas has some background noise, but it's fine. You'll get over
Oh,
it.
sorry.
Subterror is a TCG exclusive archetype, so this was all designed in the West, which I want to say for the aesthetics. I think you can tell by the fact that I personally get Captain America energy from this shield. I know it's not perfectly circular, but it's red, white, and blue and has a big circle in it. And he's got the tiny Mjolnir hammer.
Hey, Mega. There's
So
a fun bit.
I'm gonna fight you on that one because the vibe I get from it is Dark Souls.
I was thinking like World of Warcraft, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's not
I could see some Dark Souls vibes. I don't know about on this guy. Like,
Actually, it's not nearly obnoxious enough to beat World of Warcraft.
Oh,
Fair
yeah.
enough.
You need at least like 5 other light effects and like 2 other spikes.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. You would
like
know.
the big shield could certainly be a like Dark Souls great shield thing. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like the color scheme of the way the shield is rolled out and the tiny hammer, considering this was released in what, like
2017, 2016, 2015.
17, yeah, 17.
So okay, just the edge of the curve. Oh, something a person in the chat mentioned is that
Ooh, careful, Dallas.
reasoning is interesting because warrior also works from grave, so calling Lilithor is actually also not a good option sometimes.
Oh yeah, warrior works from great. Yeah, reasoning is a funny one on this. All right, Dallas, come on.
Dallas.
What?
The
I'll give
horrifying
you-
car noises or whatever.
Just mute me. Just mute me.
All right,
Just mute me for like 5 minutes.
all right. We'll mute Dallas for a second. He'll come back. So yeah, defender. He's a big boy. He is a bull man. He has a tiny hammer. He has a big shield. I think this makes sense with his stat line. He has 100 attack and 2k defense, so he's a 2k defender. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets exactly one set monster you control and no other cards, or when a set monster you control is targeted by an attack by an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, then target another monster you control that would be an appropriate target. That card/effect/attack, PCST, guys, now targets the new target. While you control a set monster, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So yeah, basically, is if you can get this guy on board, and then you have a face-down monster, or multiple face-down monsters, you can use him to prevent targeting stuff, and he can't be blown up. So he can be a very resilient defender. He's the tank. He's the party tank. He taunts. He retargets. It's great.
Yep.
I don't think there's much else to say about him aesthetically, because
Yeah.
I like that we do get to see the whole of his body, but with the light green smoke effect that's common in Subterrors, and the fact that most of his angle is, a behind shot of his shield, there's not a lot to say. We don't get to see him front on. It looks like he has a Konami orb sticking out of his belt somewhere,
Maybe.
but it's hard to tell. His face is incredibly low detail, because it was at an angle. They did not draw a lot of extra detail in it.
Yeah.
You can tell he has a ponytail, which also his hammer has a ponytail. That's cute, but there's not a lot else to say. Good muscle definition. Needs to do some squats. His ass doesn't look that great in those pants.
It's probably because they're baggy pants, weirdly baggy pants.
They are a little weirdly baggy. He should get some tighter pants, man. Look at that muscle definition, my dude. Don't skip leg day, kids.
All right, so warrior next, I guess, or archer.
Archer, who is a fairy type.
Sure. Yep.
So,
Oh, is it because she's an elf?
yes. All right. So she was released in 2016 and was a secret rare BT dubs. This is the waifu effect.
But I hope she actually has a weirdly. not that
I mean, I
great
think
effect.
she's got a fairly decent effect for Subterror, but I don't know if she's worth making a secret. So here is Subterror Nemesis Acha. You can tell because she's got a huge bow, which is absolutely, this is a Monster Hunter ass bow.
Yeah.
Look at those
It is
huge
a
forward
thing.
spikes on that.
It is a bow meant to pierce giant monster hide.
Yes, her arrows are huge. Her bow is huge. Her bow could also be used as a sword or a shield or a pair of wings, possibly a jetpack. I don't know.
She's also got
Why
her
does it
animal
also
companion,
feel
who
like
is a tiny monster.
musician?
Yeah. So this is
someone-
Archer.
Someone's in the chat that said it's sad that her bird is not like as a card, because it totally
That
has
could
a
be,
3
yeah, that could be a fun little maybe
Like
it's like
one?
another level one, yeah, that you can use for
or
link
or
plays
like or like it could be like a spell.
yeah, it could be
Tiny
like a spell
one.
effect.
Or just be a
Uh,
hand drop.
It could just be a cute little card to add, but yeah. So this is Archer. I mean, other than commenting on how on theme but ludicrous her weapons are, there's not much to say about her. I don't think she's an anime elf. She's got
She's-
big pointy elf ears. She is wearing
actually-
hot pants and like 2 levels of boots, which are thigh high.
She's got like absolute territory going, but I actually like her armor design because it looks weirdly practical in an anime sense.
Yeah, she's got like soft designs. She's got like a technically it's a corset, but she's got laced up supports which guard her guts, while also showing you some navel. She does not have like absolute cleavage or boob window like Fiendus does.
Venus doesn't give a shit. So.
Fiendus definitely, somebody said it in chat, had those belly dancer vibes. I think the only thing is that technically using a bow that huge, she would want. Well, I don't know what weird elf silk her garbs are made of, but I do know this. If you are a lady and you practice archery, you do actually want sturdy arm and chest guards because the geography of the female form is slightly different than the male form, and the bowstring can catch the inside of your arms and the chest if you're not careful. This is where the legends of Amazon's, removing the right boob come from. But yeah, no, she's an on-theme monster. She looks good.
There is a thing I see of like how I image her basically holding the bow into the ground, like how like Dark Souls people use a great bow, like the fucking.
Oh yeah, no, this is also like if I would also say this was 2016, 2017 era. Dark Souls could also easily be a heavy influence on these designs, like especially for weapons.
The weaponry designs.
Yeah, actually, I should realize I'm muted. I don't know when Dallas is gonna give me the signal to let her back in.
He hears this page just tells him to like just.
I should also
type in
post
chat,
this so
I
you
guess.
can see it as well because I hadn't done that yet. But yeah, I think I don't think there's anything to necessarily write home about, but also there's nothing offensive about this art. It's all right. It's good. It's not like an, to quote a slightly icky Reddit thread, it's not an unnecessary waifu card. Like, yeah, no, absolutely. Like, this is absolutely like the one girl elf archer character in this beat 'em up game,
Oh yeah, totally.
She's got a cute ribbon on her hair. She's got double flowers. She looks on theme. She's ready to shoot stuff. Look at how big those arrows are. They're huge.
And then is it time for Mr. Protagonist character?
Well, first we should mention what her effect is.
Fair enough,
So
yeah.
Nemesis Archer is a level 3, 1600 attack, 1400 defense. She's a fairy, as I mentioned. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks an opponent's face-down defense and position monster, and you control another Subterror monster, you can shuffle that opponent's monster into the deck. So if you can set your opponent's monsters face down, which if you get Guru on board with her, you can easily do that. She just spins him back to the deck. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Subterror monster from your deck in face up or face down defense position. You can only use each effect once per turn. So basically, if you get her on board and you can set your opponent's monsters, she's a great way to just get rid of them, get rid of troublesome monsters. Fuck, just play 3 Book of Moon and be like, Book of Moon, your monster is face down. Nemesis Archer, Subterror Nemesis Archer, your monster goes away.
It's interesting how like they're weirdly like their own Subterror had their own basic counter cards
Yes.
assigned in their
Yeah.
set.
Nemesis would obviously countermand them, but also it works with the Nemesis strategy. And then her other effect is just if she gets popped, you get to yoink a Subterror monster from your grave. All right. Dallas is saying he can come back now. I will unmute him.
I am alive.
And you're no longer running down the speeding highway?
Running around at the speed of light.
Moving
Lord,
around
there's
at
no
the
more.
speed of sound.
So Dallas, we've been waxing poetic about Nemesis Archer. Do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I do concur with I don't like the hazy gas effect that the Subterror monsters have going on.
Yeah, it's
But other
subtle
than
in
that-
this, but it does blur her bottom area a little.
Other than that, it's just very generic. Like I wish I have much better things to say about the behemoths than I do the nemesis.
Yeah.
That's fair because
That's a
I
lot.
think there's like decent shading and lighting on this today.
Honestly, I would say I do think it's a shame that, unlike Defender, where you can see his weapons very clearly, that Archer here is holding her bow mostly behind her back. Like, I think there actually could be something if you could see more of it. But
Maybe it was an
obviously, I
action
know
shot.
why they don't have it behind her back because, that gets to show off her legs and stuff. This card's a secret rare. I know what's up.
Yeah. It's like
I like her
Um,
hair.
Actually, it's a very good question. Was this card a secret
I
rare in
don't
the
think
original?
I've ever seen this card played, even in a Subterror deck.
Oh, so okay, so yeah, this was a You could easily do it, but it's kind of interesting to run through, and I don't see why you wouldn't. Maybe just because it's a secret rare. I want to throw this out there. So this was a TCG exclusive, right? When this was imported
I
to
think it might be
Japan,
because there are better slots.
possibly. You know, there's a lot you can do with the big monsters. But she was one of the initial waves of support. So,
Yeah.
but so fun fact: when this was imported to Japan as the extra pack, she was just a rare.
Wow.
Of
The,
course.
the reverse Konami move.
It's like,
Okay, so.
you know, the secret rare that we gave you guys is now just a rare over
So,
here.
yes, it is time to
Well,
talk
also,
about Mr.
the
Protagonist.
OCG people are aliens, so I don't know how rare a rare is anymore.
It's
a
true,
normal
because
rare
they
is
have,
super
like-
rare.
They have like 5 kinds of rares, which you can also get.
Super premium, ultra
So,
platinum rare.
In case,
soul devouring rare, soul devouring premium rare.
so in case you can't tell, this is Warrior. He is the protagonist.
I actually kind of like his design. He's very like a Final Fantasy character, but I like his hair.
You can tell he's the protagonist because his arms are huge and he has goggles.
Why does this just look like a rejected Burning Abyss design?
But
he almost-
Dallas, it could be the same artist. Burning Abyss was also TCG exclusive. This could literally be drawn by the same man who brought you Burning Abyss.
Honestly,
We don't
probably,
know.
Yeah. I
Um,
honestly, he just seems like
Careful,
a.
Dallas.
Oh god, Dallas.
Did you fall
But-
down?
I'm fine. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Dallas says as he's like stuck in a trash can somewhere. It's like, no.
Dallas fell into a gravel pile. But yeah, no, I mean he is a warrior. He is the, archer's the range character, defender's kind of the close range melee control guy. This guy's got a huge fucking sword. It's so huge it doesn't
I'm
fit
gonna
in the
be
card
honest.
art.
I think this is my least favorite of the arts, personally.
Is it just because
because
he's so
I just-
plain?
Yeah, he's literally the most generic card art
What?
I've seen. Like, there's nothing to note other than the background. Like, literally, the background is the only reason I can even tell what archetype this is.
Yeah, because he's clearly in the SUBTERROR zone, which is green and rocky.
Yeah, it's
I
green
think-
rock paint.
I think that I would say that is the detractor, especially compared to like defender and archer. Like, he's just a generic fantasy. This is
honestly,
the
to
this
me,
is the
these
bland
have been-
white straight protagonist that a
This
million
is
people on the
human male
internet complain
fighter.
about.
This is human male fighter, the epitome art.
Yes,
Like, he's
and
the human male.
He weapon fighting and like
and
actually cool
when this video game comes out, when this beat 'em up game comes out, people will complain the fact that he's the generic milquetoast main character.
Yeah. Remember how people complained about I can't remember his name sadly, but the guy in Jedi Fallen Order.
Cal Kestis,
Yeah.
which is terrible.
I
shit.
only
It's
remember that because
giving
I've
off those
watched
kind of vibes.
Here's the thing. I only remember that character's name because I watched this. Spoiler for Jedi Fallen Order. I've watched the scene where Darth Vader hands him his ass so many times.
That's an amazing
that game
scene, though.
presentation is really great. Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
no,
Fallen Order's been
Jedi
out for
Fallen Order
years.
is actually a good game.
Yeah, it's a terrible shame it took EA so many years to greenlight a good Star Wars game. A really good one, not just generic ones. But yeah, no, speaking of generic, I don't think there's anything to write home about. Like, obviously this aesthetic appeals to me because I grew up on these games and animes. But-
I really like this art style. I just think you just gotta
See,
do it.
Omega,
Yeah.
I also grew up on those games and stuff, but it still doesn't appeal to me because I need something to set him apart. Like, his weapon isn't even cool.
No, he's just got a giant sword. I mean, you can't even
He's
see
a
it.
generic
I
sword.
like giant
I'm a-
swords, and I'm just like, you can't even see the giant sword. How giant is his
Like,
sword? I don't know.
Usually it's like, with JRPGs at least, there's a generic protagonist that has a weapon that is like fucking weird and looks like something completely unique. Like Shulk is a good example. He
Oh,
is
he
a
has the
generic,
Monado.
boring looking man, but his sword looks like it's out of a fucking like sci-fi novel, so it interests me.
It kind of is.
This
Though.
guy
I think even in most like the spell trap art, yeah, his sword is so huge. I think it gets cut off in like every support card art. I'm
Honestly,
double checking.
I feel like there needs to be art of him like stabbing it through a monster.
Yeah, this. Yeah, just.
I
was
do
looking
like-
back, the most closest anime character that he looks close to is the main protag from Roka Brave of the Six Flowers.
I will
I
say,
gotta
I
see
think
it
there is
there.
an interesting note we should bring up, because there's card art for this in six.
I mean,
in,
to me, he looks like, if anyone's seen this cartoon, he looks like the villain from Shaolin Showdown.
I kind of get
Jack
it, you know.
Spicer.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
He has the red hair and the goggles and the trench coat.
He is a little pasty.
Yeah.
But also, no, he doesn't. Well, okay, he is wearing a cloak tunic. But I want to bring up his cloak because that is actually a matter because I caught this in the support spell, or support trap, Subterror Succession. The cloak he is wearing, that is Subterror Guru's cloak.
Oh, so Guru dies. Okay.
No, Guru hands it to him in a trap. I think it's
Gotcha.
just you've completed your training. You now wear the cloak. He has also clearly like edited elements of it so it fits him. Because fun fact, I know how tall Guru is versus this guy, which is this motherfucker is a head taller than Subterror Guru. Just to put it in perspective, he's
Guru's not that
huge.
tiny.
No, Guru is probably normal person sized with horns. This motherfucker is
This guy's-
huge. He is a basketball player.
Oh, he's like 6'8" or something. Huh?
Yeah, no, he is
Because, like,
he is
even
one of
with-
those.
So does it mean like defenders?
This
like,
guy
7 to
Is
8 tall?
Joestar huge?
Look at Artemis. Like, or what was that her name?
Archer.
I don't fucking remember.
Artemis is
Archer.
fine, but she Archer,
Lion?
yeah. No,
But,
quiet you.
Like her weapon is interesting and cool looking. His weapon is just generic.
Yeah, it's a big
okay,
sword.
sorry.
I give this man a fail.
I thought he
Uh,
was talking about like.
Oh,
Never
and
mind.
you can also there is actually an art. I think it's Subterror Final Battle, where you can actually see a front-facing look at Archer's bow, and yeah, no, it's big, it's chunky. You still can't see all of Warrior's sword. It's just not there.
No, no. Subterror Warrior gets an F+ from me.
So,
So what does he do?
effect. So he is a level 4 warrior with 1800 attack, fairly normal shit. During either player's turn, you can send one Subterror monster from your deck to the graveyard. Semicolon. Tribute this card and at least one other monster so the original levels total or exceed the level of that Subterror monster in the graveyard. And if you do, special summon that monster in face up or face down defense position. So, during either player's turn, so this is inherently a quick effect, you can send a Subterror monster from your deck to the graveyard, tribute this card, and then one other monster so the levels to immediately special summon that monster. So he can fetch basically any of your monsters if you've got the levels. And then, second effect, if a Subterror Behemoth monster is flipped face up while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect once per turn.
Yep,
I mean,
yep, that's-
I've seen him in like actual Subterror, but he's an interesting card.
Yeah, he lets you. He's yet another way you can cheat out your big bunguses from deck. I don't necessarily think
I
you
just
need
don't know
that.
if he's the most efficient.
Yeah, and to be fair, he is from the Dark Illusion when they originally came out. He was only a rare. Like he helps the deck go.
What rarity is Guru? I'm curious.
Actually, that is a good question. Let me pull him up. Let me grab Guru. I don't
Because
remember
if
looking
Guru
that
is
up.
a rare, that's gonna cause problems for progression.
It's gonna be funny if he's like a common.
He is a
Oh,
common.
God.
He's not a common
Oh.
until several years later though. He didn't come out
Oh,
until
okay.
2019 as a common in Savage
Okay,
Strike.
that's better.
That's quite a little bit ways on. So we'll see how that goes.
Right.
But shocking no one, Guru's a card that has actually been printed several times because he's good. He's been printed several times.
I don't think his deck has ever hit tier 1, but he's definitely a consistent tier 2, tier 3 deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just works.
I will make a. Never mind.
We'll figure it out when it happens. Oops, that's the wrong grab. I grabbed the wrong link there. All right. So
I
let's pull up
honestly
this.
feel like it makes me think like Defender is probably like 8 tall or something.
Defender has to be huge. I mean, his shield's pretty big. So we're now going to move on to the Subterror Behemoths. They are big.
I remember what this art looks reminds me of.
Yeah?
Has anyone seen the original Record of Lodoss War anime?
Oh boy, that's a giant art.
It's
Hold on.
been years, but yes,
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of that specific artist's art style.
I can kind of get it. But it's just,
That might be a deliberate homage. All right,
God, that
so
thing's huge and cool.
yeah, and I love that they include a warrior for scale here. Just to let you know, because warrior is a huge fucking human. He is tiny compared to Subterror Behemoth Stygio Kraken,
Why is he underwater in an ice cavern?
because it's
'Cause
a sea
that's-
serpent. That's where the
that's-
Subterror
Water
Behemoth Stygio Kraken lives.
Yeah,
How do you like wander into domain?
It's the boss of the water temple.
Yeah, no,
Fair enough,
and
yeah.
and like I imagine when you say Subterra Behemoth Stygia Kraken, that's what the boss subtitles that appear when he comes out,
Yes.
right? You jump into the lake, you see the words, and then you're like, oh fuck, it's an underwater boss.
No, what I imagine is it's a Shadow Colossus type deal. He signed to short it. He shined his sword into the water, jumped in, was met with this, and went, well, shit.
Then I image like it's like this archer and defender trying to get it out of the lake and just kept
Oh, shit,
stabbing it as he's fighting it.
Yeah, so Oop, that was a loud car. Design-wise, I mean, this is our first behemoth, so there's not really a lot to compare to. He is a sea serpent type monster, so you know he has the necessary looks. I think. I also want to point out that he's an interesting Earth sea serpent type because all Subterrors are Earth type.
Because I think it's a subterranean lake.
Yeah.
Earth.
So he is named after a kraken, so a giant monster.
Someone brings it up. There is a nemesis card in every behemoth arc.
That's good for
scale.
Yeah, for scale. I it's a little weird, but I do think this is correct. So the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki says that he is named for Stygiofauna, which is it would make sense because Stygiofauna is the name for fauna that live in groundwater systems in caves. So cave fish and the like.
I have one problem with this art.
What is it, Dallas?
Why is he called Kraken? This is not a Kraken.
You
This
are
is a
correct.
Leviathan.
I mean, yeah.
This should be Stygia Leviathan.
Especially
Yeah,
considering, right, that this was a TCG exclusive, you know, so like
Yeah.
they obviously
This
know the
doesn't
distance.
have the excuse of like, because here's the thing: they've done Krakens before. Fight for Kraken is a card. It's a Kraken.
Yeah. And there is also a very interesting thing. So in Japanese, Subterra, because they were imported later, they had to do a reverse localization. First of all, they're not called Behemoth. They are translated as Subterra Malice, Subterra Marisu. And the names the Behemoths get are named after oceans, or seas, I should say.
That's
Which is a
interesting.
little weird.
Yeah.
But this
I
guy
totally get where you're
is
going with
Aquadria, named after the Adriatic Sea. I do agree with Dallas. I think that is the problem is his name. He is called Subterra Behemoth Kraken when he is very clearly some kind of Leviathan, Yorgmander type shit. But he is a sea serpent. I like his
remind me of,
head design,
It makes me think of Surtur in a weird, because he has is that weird coral, flaming coral, with weird superheating prongs and
Yeah, no, he's definitely glowing with a weird pink energy in his horns that is also in his eyes. He clearly shoots
it's a
beams
thing-
or lightning or something.
It's a thing of if you go with mythological sea creatures, you can use Leviathan to describe anything. That has etymologically been to describe a lot of different looking things. Kraken is very specifically tentacles.
Yeah, it's an
Eating
octopoid.
books.
I don't
that?
know. Maybe they didn't want to step on toes when they came to the fucking stupid ass Orichalcos boss monster.
Nah. But yeah, so other than the fact that the name is weird, Stygio Kraken is okay art-wise. I think he serves his purpose well. Stygio Kraken is a level 5, so he requires a tribute normally. Not that you need to bother with tributes with behemoths, but he is level 5. He has 1,400 attack, but 2,600 defense, so he's got a very fat ass, as you might expect from a flip deck set. His effect is Flip. You can target set cards on the field equal to the number of Subterra Behemoth monsters you control. Destroy them. You can only use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Stygio Kraken once per turn. When a face-up monster you control is flipped face down and you control no face-up monsters, you can special summon from this card from your hand in defense position, not once per turn. Once per turn, you can change this card to face down defense position, soft once per turn. So, yeah. Basically, this is the way the Subterra Behemoths are built. They have a flip effect. If they actually get flipped up, they can flip themselves face down. And if other monsters are flipped down, they can special summon them. So, if you use monsters like Guru or Fiendus, you can easily get these monsters special summoned very easily, despite the fact that they will have larger and larger pools of levels.
Now, unfortunately,
Yeah, it's
it's kind of sad, like
Sad.
setting cards.
Like, if people played more back row, I could see you teching him in because it does have to be set target cards.
Like,
Obviously, I think
honestly,
it's
I've
supposed to
only-
have synergy with like Guru, right? Like you use Guru to flip a monster your opponent has face down and flip
So,
Guru face down.
you-
You special summon this
you
guy,
know
you
what
immediately flip him
weirdly-
face up. Go
You
ahead.
know what deck this weirdly has synergy with? This weird Subterror Ghost Trick hybrid deck, because a lot of Ghost Trick monsters set opponents' monsters.
Yeah, actually, I expect that while it sounds weird, mechanics-wise, Subterror Ghost Trick probably flows together pretty good.
You just play some of the really big ones.
It's just really funny. Well, no, you can't play the really big ones. That's the problem. Oh no, wait, I guess you can because they're still set monsters. So.
Yeah, they still set themselves. So I think also Stygia Kraken establishes a pretty common back and forth, which is the Subterror Behemoths either have fat butts or have fat attacks. So let us pull up the next one, which is one of my favorite artworks for this.
Oh, is it the Lava Worm?
No, because we're going in our order of levels. It is Subterror Behemoth Dragossuary.
Oh, look, there's Defender there.
He is a Dragolich, and yes, you can see how large he is because Defender is teeny tiny.
At least Defender tries. It's just, oh shit.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
that thing.
so
That's a very,
it's a big boy.
very cool design there. Very
Product Dragon.
Drago-Lich. Very Drago-Lich in his
Yes.
design. And wait.
So obviously the name is Dragon plus Ossuary, which is where you keep bones. You keep the bones. What were you saying, Marth? Sorry.
One of his leg joint stores looks like gear. The right
yeah.
one.
It does
I
have
know,
a little
yeah.
bit. It does have a little bit of a weird pattern. I think he's just got. It's because these weird glowing red rock lines in there. Because that is actually like if you can see the opposite side, that is actually the shape of a hip joint. It's just I think we've got a weird angle on the patterns. You were right that it looks a little gear-like, especially in miniature. But yeah, Drago Ossuary looks fucking sick. I love him.
You know his effect by heart?
I mean, no, I don't think I know his effect by heart.
Okay.
But when you're playing, I see the problem is I don't have much call to play Subterror because against casual decks, Subterror can be very unfun because it involves special summoning very large monsters that like to set themselves constantly and have flip effects. But for competitive play, it's useless. So
That's a bummer.
but it does have a fairly decent effect. So this is a big attack monster. He is a level 6 with 2,400 attack, 1,600 defense. He is a Zombo. Duh. Flip. Activate this effect this turn. You can activate this effect, by the way. This turn, Subterror cards you control cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. You can only use this effect once per turn. When a face-up monster you control is face down, special summon. And then once per turn, flip this card face down. So basically, you can flip him up. You can be like, you cannot destroy my monsters this turn. And then you can get in attacks if you need to. But yeah, no, like aesthetically, I think he's very cool.
I mean, he's a Dragon Lich.
Yeah.
He's not my favorite Draco Lich, but he's a cool Draco Lich.
Yeah, I do actually think there's not a lot to say after that because, yeah, he's a Dracolich. That's a very common aesthetic. He is a dragon who is a bone. He is a Zombo. Zombo dragons aren't even alien to Yu-Gi-Oh! He is very large, and he is going to eat you, and I love him. Look at how red and black and spiky he is. No, he's great.
I'm personally preferential to Doom King Baldrach, but that's just me.
All right.
Who's also a Draco Lich.
Yeah.
You guys actually printed a lot of Draco Liches.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool effect. Plus, they have a lot of dragons, so if you just make dragon Zombo, it's you know, fairly easy. Okay, so... and once again, you know, dragon plus Ossuary. Well, Killian,
Yeah.
you're definitely thinking the Monster Hunter type thoughts. Oh no, you said you want to give him a huge piano, not make him a huge piano. Sorry, I misread your comment.
With his tiny hands.
I would also not put a piano. Clearly, this motherfucker plays an organ.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's definitely an organ player.
I am just
He's
I'm in my
specifically
head. I am
played-
hearing the organ sting from Phantom of the Opera.
No, he specifically plays only Toccata and Fugue.
That's the
That is
other
only
famous
song
organ
he
piece. Yeah.
knows.
Diddly, diddly.
Some of the very rock things.
I'm getting kind of tired, so we should probably.
Yeah. We'll let's move on to the next behemoth. We don't have too many more behemoths.
Oh, there's only 6 of them.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4,
I think
5,
it's 7.
6, 7. Yeah, there's 7.
Okay. Sure, we could probably.
But this is our second. Let me get up the. This one is translucent. Is the background important? Oh wait, no, I did find it though. Okay.
I mean, if we need to see the nemesis in the art.
No, yeah. This art has the foreground, but it does have a transparent background. But I will. Okay, he big. Let me resize him.
I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you guys can probably tell the artistic inspiration for this very rapidly. So, this is Subterror Behemoth Umastrix.
Could you blow up the image one more?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can
that
research
actually looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh monster, and I just can't remember which one.
Oh wait, no, I want to do 125. I want to make him bigger slightly. Let's stretch.
Oh my
it.
god, what monster is that? Like, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I
I mean, his face looks like a labyrinth tank. He definitely has strong vibes of other Yu-Gi-Oh monsters. It's because he's got a drill
No,
face.
he's Gungnir. He's Gungnir.
Oh yeah, no, he does remembers
The
all
Ice
that.
Dragon.
Also, look how big our Ledger's tail is.
Yeah, his
Oh,
tail's
wow.
huge. This is a reptile type, by the way.
Like, if you pull
I-
up Gungnir, he
where's
looks
his
almost
mouth?
exactly
Yeah, I'm
like
gonna.
it.
I need to just make a new tab so I can pull him up. Let me duplicate
Is
this
that
tab.
Guru? Is that Guru fighting him, or is that something else?
That could be Guru standing there. Oops, I misspelled that, but hopefully it will. Nope.
That or it's someone in a cloak, so maybe it's
Alright.
Warrior. I'm not sure if it's Warrior.
I mean, I don't know if he's that close to Gungnir. It definitely has a
Just
resemblance, though.
look at the head.
Well, I'll pull him up. I do actually think, though, the head is slightly differently shaped than you may be remembering.
Maybe.
But it does have similar vibes because I think they're in similar poses and angles. So let me pull these up because I can see what Dallas is talking about. It's not exact, but it is definitely very similar energy.
So Chad is saying it's Warrior in the art.
Okay, it is Warrior. All right. Yeah, I mean, I guess that tiny stick is his giant sword. No, I think that thing that looks like a tiny stick is supposed to be his sword, even though that's way too short for his sword. Because his sword,
that even sucks even more.
his sword
Unless-
never
unless-
fits in the art, so clearly it's not. But
Unless-
anyway,
No,
yeah.
that-
So
Unless it's broken.
That's-
Yeah.
That sucks even more.
so
The
yeah.
Warrior's bad.
So this is Umastrix. He very much looks like a literal kaiju. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but there's absolutely like a drill-faced mole kaiju.
Maybe one of the like 50 different incarnations of Mechagodzilla.
Something like that. There's quite a few. Maybe it's Mogura I'm thinking of.
There's
Okay,
a
no.
lot of Mechagodzilla.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, no, but Umastrix, I think, aesthetically has a good vibe. Like, he's got that really long tail that comes out behind him. He's got those... His nails are a little weird. Like, they're not quite sharp enough to be claws. They look like he's got fucking nail extensions in, but they're still pretty big. I am now noticing a slight problem with his face. I don't know how his jaw works.
He is the derpiest looking motherfucker.
He has a very long chin that turns into a Giga Drill Breaker face. Like, it's weird.
I'm gonna be honest. I think this is my least favorite art of the behemoths.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of derpy details. I like the direction they're going, but it is one of those things where you start to look at, as you look at it too long, you're like, wait a minute.
This is like some of the hero arts where, like, on initial presentation, this looks fine, but the more you look at it, the worse it gets.
It's like at first you're like, oh, he's a big chunky boy, and then
What I also want to throw out there is I don't know where his mouth or eyes are, if he has them, but also he has hands, so presumably.
Well, I mean, if he's a mole, then like if they're going for a mole, maybe he doesn't have eyes.
Wait, no.
It could be.
Guys,
'Cause
it
he
makes
has-
me think of the starfish nosed bowl.
That's probably
Oh,
a good
God.
comparison.
But it's
So,
drill instead of a star.
Let me actually pull up what this is a reference to. Yeah, it's just a reference to a species of lizards. Umastrix is like Uromastix, which is very similar.
Ouroboros.
He is a level 7 reptile, 2000 attack, 2700 defense. Flip, target one monster your opponent controls, banish it. You can only use this effect once per turn. When a face-up monster you control is flipped face down, do all the stuff. So he's a fairly decent monster to have, which is a shame that his art is kind of herp-derp. But yeah, no.
No, I've definitely seen this one run before.
Yeah, no, he has a butt-simple effect. Flip him, target and banish a monster your opponent controls.
I'm pretty sure this is run in Guru Control just to deal with shit like oh god, what's a good example? The Adagnisser boss monster.
Yeah, shit like that. Just banish him. Get him out of here.
Or no, he can't be targeted now.
No, it's not non-targeting, but like there are a lot of cards that this can just simply remove. And it has a decently fat ass that your opponent probably can't run into it if you set it without them knowing. And then if they flip it, you get to banish some shit. So it's got a decent range. But yeah, okay. Let's go to the next one. Now this one has a funny name. And it has an interesting it has an art I want to see up close for sure to see how it works. Yeah, okay, we got a good one.
Look, the only Subterra monster I really know and have seen a lot of is the like level 11 one, I think.
Yeah, there's some big bunguses. So this is Subterra Behemoth, and you got brace for this name, kids. Phosphoroglacia.
Fire Ice.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll post this for Dallas as well. So this one has
Hot and cold.
This one has Fiendess in its artwork to let you know that she's there. I will say it does. I don't know if she's fighting it or if she's trying to like control it because she's got a green orb in her hand and it's got a green orb in its chest.
Sigil.
I think this art is one of the arts that is hurt by the excessive sickly radium green glow in these arts.
This also suffers from Vrain's dragon syndrome of why are all of my dragons anorexic suddenly?
Well, also, why is this a dragon? This is an aqua. I mean, it's made of ice, I guess, because it's phosphoroglacier, like it's made of like rock ice or something. But then why is it also a dragon? Why is it a dragon?
Yeah, no, I think
I
this
like
is
dragons.
ugly.
I don't know if I would call it ugly. I think it's unnecessary.
Okay,
I think it's ugly.
this card definitely screams Vanguard card to me because some Vanguard
Yes, no,
dragons
this
are
looks like a card by
some
Vanguard.
Vanguard dragon cards are very anorexic.
No, you know what? I'm gonna go one step further in insults. This looks like a Duel Masters card.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
They're
yeah,
all
it's.
dual
I will say,
masters.
I think its flaw is it's a generic ice dragon in in Yu-Gi-Oh, which is full of generic ass dragons.
Like it screams to me of cards like Firewall Dragon and like certain other Vrain's dragons that just look like they need a fucking bite to eat.
I mean, this was 2017 Maximum Crisis, so you wouldn't be wrong. This is the era of art, I think.
No, yeah.
Where that started to become more prevalent. Like, obviously, I'm a big fan of dragons. I like aspects of its art. Like, I do think that it has some interesting vibes. If nobody said it in chat yet, because I haven't tabbed over, but this could absolutely be a legendary Pokemon.
Look,
Yeah.
I don't mind. You don't know me, Omega. I like dragons. There's just some dragons are better than other dragons, and
yes,
literally, there's a better example. 2 arts of.
Oh yeah, talking about that, it just looks like Kyurem actually took more control over the black one.
Oh, you're right. It looks like the fucking mutant-looking ass fusions from Black and White.
Right, Zekrom plus Kyurem, black.
Yeah,
Kyurem.
Yeah, I know. This has strong legendary Pokemon vibes.
I was actually about to say they turned Elemental Hero Prisma into a dragon, and it didn't go well.
Bar.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna say this has now replaced Moleface as my least favorite art. Well, no, my least favorite art is Warrior, but least favorite Behemoth.
I don't necessarily agree, but I get where you're coming from, Dallas. Phosphoroglacier is an aqua, an earth aqua, by the way, because they're all earth. We have a lot of funny typings in this set. Flip,
Weirdly, not the first Earth Aqua.
No, but
There's a
it
lot
is
of
very
it.
funny. Flip, you can send one card from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect once per turn, so it's a foolish.
So it's a foolish.
And then that's its only effect other than the generic Behemoth stuff. It's a 2600 attack,
Cool.
2500 defense. It's all right. It's a very average Subterror.
This feels like it doesn't go in Subterrors.
Like, I mean, it works because you can send, Warrior to graveyard. You can send other cards that have plays in the graveyard to the graveyard. But I feel like
guess.
there's just way better ways to do that. Like, literally just play reasoning and just be like, hey, asshole, what level do you pick?
Yeah, no, this is easily, to me, the worst of art so far. I don't know. For Behemoth, at least. I still think Warrior's the worst, because
Warrior is very generic.
it looks like a Deviant Art OC.
All right. Anybody have any further thoughts on Phosphor
No.
Glacier? I do want to say I think Phosphor Glacier has one of the best names because it's just
Oh,
Phosphor
no.
Glacier.
Its name is great. Its art is bad.
All right, so we're moving on to the next one. This
Yo,
is
man, we had
Subterror
to, like,
Behemoth
edge.
Voltaluric. And this is just a fucking Colossus.
Yeah.
Da-na-na-na.
Oh yeah, it does look like that, but it also
Nah, this is just a, I mean, it's got different color scheme than Shadow of the Colossus. This is a fucking Shadow of the Colossus boss, literally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, this literally looks like Colossus 8.
I like the vibes though. This is a Thunder, by the way. I like the vibes though. Like he's firing that beam at the guys. Defender is tanking. There's this crisp blue electricity everywhere. He is also a nice electric blue himself.
Oh, no, yeah, this art is actually really nice.
Yeah, he has like underslung talons, like he's a giant thunderbird or something. Like, no, this is a good aesthetic. It's an action shot.
This is a good dragon art.
Yeah. This is the Lost Thunder Dragon.
Yeah. Well, I also said it was like different Dimension Dragon's big brother.
Yeah, it has some. It has definitely a similar look to
Yeah.
that. But so, if there's no further aesthetic comments, we can just talk about his. This is the level 9. He is a Thunder. He's got only 1900 attack, but 3k defense. This is a fat ass monster. Unfortunately, his effect only works if you're doing Guru nonsense because you flip, target one set monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase. You can only use this effect once per turn. So,
Yep.
if you're playing Guru control, this is very funny. If you're not playing a Guru control type deck and you're not having loads and loads of Books of Moon, which arguably because Archer just spins them back to deck, that's better than just taking control of them for a turn. It's not a great effect.
Yeah,
great
but
stats,
you
though.
also, Omega, you take control of them and then link it off.
I suppose you can get rid of them. You can, flip them up and stuff. You can do things to get rid of them, but yeah, it's definitely
Yeah, no, I think this is like a one-of in some
Yeah.
Guru control deck.
like I do think because it's got 3k defense, it does have a good stat line you can use. And especially with that, that nice solid 9. But yeah, no, it's not the best effect.
Nah. Nix.
All right, I am pulling up the next one. Once again, great name on this guy. Can I get a good sized art of him? I can definitely tell the nemesis in this set, this picture is Warrior because you can see his giant sword. It's actually in frame. So, behold.
I don't believe you.
Let me make this guy a little bit bigger. Let's go to 1.5. Behold, Subterror Behemoth Stalagmo. Like, I just love that name. He's called Stalagmo. He is a rock. He is a rock dragon.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. You can see he's got kind of like this, like dripping oil or water effect over parts of his body that's actually really highly detailed.
Oh yeah, I can actually see the warrior's sword better in this one.
He looks fine. I have a little bit of a problem with his wings. Why do his wings have turbines? That just bothers me.
I mean, they're not turbines; they're rocks sticking out.
Yeah.
No, but they look like turbines.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's definitely an aesthetic, and some people talked about this with Dragossary as well. There's an interesting aesthetic where a lot of these guys have spikes in their wings, which do kind of have the jet turbine shape. It's a little weird.
Like, this looks like it was a trace over from, like, Super Quantal Mecha fucking King or something.
It could be. You never know. I mean, it definitely seems like it's got similarities to the aesthetic of the time. He's got the side face horns that a lot of dragons have in this era. I mean,
Also, his face is so derpy.
yeah, he has a very obviously he's roaring, but he does have a very tiny face.
Ooh. Hello.
I mean, like, if you, because look at the size of Warrior in this shot, who you know Warrior is huge, right? We know he's enormous for a human. If you saw this motherfucker stand out of, like, a pool of glowing green water and yell at you, and you'd see the boss subtitles, Subterra Behemoth Stalagmo, you'd probably be like, oh,
Yeah,
he
actually,
big.
I think it is just stood out of the water because I think you can see water marks on it.
Yeah, I think actually he's got some, like, look at the lighting on parts of his body. That looks like lighting reflecting off water's surface, which I love. This has a lot of good subtle details.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
there's a lot of good subtle details, but again, my dumbass mind is looking at this and going, it's like he just woke up and went, did someone say dinner time?
Oh,
Also,
actually,
it looks like he has spandex lines, and I don't like that.
Wait, the right and left legs both have water.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
he looks like he has a thong.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, he's
Yeah,
got a
kinda.
tail because it goes back around behind him, so I assume that's like his tail joint going down. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. They obviously he is a rock and he is very made of inorganic material, but they tried to give him an organic look. Sometimes that doesn't come off the best. I think this guy looks a little too alive for a rock.
He
at
looks
times.
so derpy to me. I don't know.
I think he's fairly okay. I also want to say that water or like that water streak effect or oil streak effect is way more pronounced in the actual card art because this guy was like a common, I think. No, he's an ultra. Okay, that's weird. It's a very clean scan then. But hold on.
What's his effect? Is he worth it?
Well, okay, yeah, I'll pull that up. I was also going to pull up another thing to talk about. So this is the level 10. He has a rock flip. He has a 2800 attack, 2100 defense. Also, no, Dallas, his effect is good. Flip, you can discard one Subterra monster. If you do, draw 2 cards. You can only use his effect once per turn. So he's an in-archetype draw. Yeah, you flip him, and you got a 2800 beat stick, and you get to discard a card and draw 2 cards. Okay. But in turn, what I wanted to bring up and why I was slightly distracted there was I wanted to compare him to another card people in the progression tournament have seen out of me a few times. Compare him to Mega Rock Dragon, who is a rock who is also a dragon. I think Mega Rock Dragon looks a lot rockier. Also, he looks way more metal up close. Damn, dude.
Oh, dude, Mega Rock Dragon's art is great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Stalagmo. Most of him is okay, but that face just.
I want to say I
kills
think Stalagma is very average. Like we've seen a couple of derpy ones. We've seen a couple of really good ones. I think Stalagma's average. Like, his face is a little bit of a detractor, and maybe it's just the lighting in this scanner blow-up art. But I think he's got some good stuff, and you got to say, that scale and a lot of that detail work is really great. I mean, like I said, I have an appreciation for the fact that somebody had to draw all those water effects and that water light, that backlighting. Like,
oh god, his nose is level with his eyes. That just, that looks so bad.
Yeah, I think there's a slight perspective problem. But he is a rock.
He's not even looking at Warrior.
He a rock. All right.
Yep.
So,
this one I know.
yeah, I'm about to say, if you know the level 11 one, you know of this one. But let's get some. Ooh, yeah, he's a good card art. All right. Copy image. Get on Pasto, and also in Discord. So, this is Subterra Behemoth Speleologist, or Speleologeist.
Ah, I see. He looks like he's wearing wild shoulder pads.
He is Speleologeist. So, Speleology, I call it Speleologist, but that's just a caver. Speleologeist, he is a cave ghost. And he's a fiend, so that kind of makes sense. An earth fiend, spell ghost. You can see Fiendus in this card art.
Yeah.
Down there. And I do think there's some interesting things in this art, you know? Once again, it's a generic dragon with side horns. That's a little repetitive. Though I don't think its wings have jet turbines. Its wings have a much more like giant cloak effect going on.
Yeah.
But I really like the color interplay here. Like, honestly, if this was like secretly Fiendus's mom or something, wouldn't be shocked. Like long, like cloak hair effect going on. Got a lot of purple and a lot of gold. They make sure to play up that while it's a slightly different shade, Fiendus's bright pink hair is also in this shot, you know? So I think that's an interesting aesthetic callback. I think it's interesting that this monster looks almost like it's descending from a hole in the ceiling. That's a slightly different aesthetic take. Other than that, I feel like there's not much I can say because I feel like the art is a little busy. There's a lot of segments and colors and lines and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like a little bit too busy. Plus that light effect from above, glare effect, and then
Oh, Dallas has exploded.
Mist
Or he's
from
getting off his phone and we'll
below.
come back in a second. I'm
Yeah.
sure when Dallas gets back, if he can come back, there he is. Dallas will be sure to comment about these shoulders. Holy shit, look at how huge her
Yeah.
shoulders are.
The shoulders
are
are
big.
ridiculous.
By the way, quick question. Axe, are you still alive or did you fall asleep?
I think that means Axe fell asleep. Axe,
Can
is your
you
mic
hear
on?
me?
Are you okay? I can hear you, Dallas.
Yeah, we can hear you, Dallas.
Axe is
Okay.
non-responsive. He said he was tired. He may
Yeah.
have fallen asleep.
So what I was gonna say is I actually was wrong. I do not know the level 11, but God, this art is awesome.
What now? You broke up a little there.
Sorry, I did not know the level 11. I know the level 12.
Okay.
In that case, but God, this art is awful.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know about
got-
awful. I don't feel offended, but it's one of those ones where I'm like, I keep looking at it. I
looks
like
like
parts of this, but holy shit, there's way too much in this art.
They turned a WoW tier set into a dragon.
A dragon with a fat tail, and she's also got like summon skull muscles, or I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
wide hips should be a she.
She
Protruding chest, wide hips could be a she.
Okay.
You don't know. This
Also,
dragon.
Does this thing have like its ribs just sort of like half open?
Yeah, it's got some cracked rib effects, and then it's got purple plates. It's a little weird. I have also I have temporarily kicked Axe to see if he's actually awake. If he's not awake, he won't rejoin us. We'll wrap up soon. So this one's level 11. It is a fiend, an earth fiend, 3K attack, also 1400 defense. So flip, you can target one monster on the field. Semicolon. Change it to face up attack position. If it is in defense position, also change its attack to 0. You can only use this effect once per turn. So this has more utility than the cards that target set monsters only. You can do something like no entry or other card effects, of which there are plenty, to put all your opponent's monsters in defense position. Then you could flip this up and attack and then get in for 3K damage easy. But the fact that it doesn't have any like protection or shutdown effects on its own, there's a lot of better monsters like you can play other bodies to deal with. You know?
Yeah, this one's not great.
So let's bring up then the one that Dallas has heard of, the
That
level
boy.
12, the big one, who has a very unique typing. I think he is an Earth Pyro.
Right.
But behold, Subterror Behemoth. Let me make sure I've got the right consonants in this. Yes, Ultramophus.
Yeah, and if you've seen Subterrors other than Guru, you've probably seen this one. This goes in a lot of decks.
Yeah, and it has the same stat line as Spellgeist. So he is a lava turtle. He's great. I also love this design.
Yeah.
Like, he is huge. He has got a volcano on his back that is erupting. That's how huge this motherfucker is. I mean, you could say he has also got Pokemon vibes. Groudon / Ancient Groudon kind of energy. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I like it, though. I also like the fact that he's got a different fucking color palette. Like, he's got this bright magma orange yellow to offset the green glow. But, yeah, he pretty sick.
Yeah. Love
I
it.
believe you mentioned it already. Just difficulty not being able to see any of the nemesis to go up against these guys. Like, there's no warrior, no fiend.
Yeah, I don't see a monster in this, which does kind of hurt the scale. But obviously, he has a giant volcano on his back, so he's
Oh, no.
supposed to be huge.
Yeah, Fiendus is in the last one. She's just very tiny.
Is she? Is she that tiny dot?
Look by the toe. Look by the toe with the pink cape.
Oh, is that smudge on his toe supposed to be Fiendus?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's
That's one of those. I mean, that looks like a lot of. It's out of place
if
for
you-
all the flecks of lava, but it makes sense.
No, I'm saying in Geistis. Sorry.
Oh, what are we talking about? We're talking about Ultramophus. I posted the art as well, Dallas. We're on Ultramophus now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I can't see.
Ultramophus doesn't have any scale.
But I assume he is ginormous.
Yeah, no, like I said, he's got a volcano on his back. I assume he's huge. So Ultramophus is a Earth Pyro. Flip. Change all other face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position. You can only use this effect once per turn. So he's a Book of Eclipse, basically. When you flip him, all other monsters go down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
Speaking of the other half of Guru Control.
Yeah.
Like,
And
what?
this came out in 2016. Dallas, I think I've realized like what really killed Subterror before it began was because, as evidenced by the fact that they have an early Link monster, Link monsters came out and became required. So you can't set those because Konami are assholes. So these monsters are hard countered by playing Links, which you have to play in MR4 for the most part.
Fun fact, Subterror didn't actually become a good deck until 2020.
Yeah, I expect.
Yeah,
Somebody's saying
just-
top left cliff.
Do not know if the
Anyway, I gotta pop.
trivia
Okay.
is drunk or not, but apparently they say you might be able to see two of them in the upper left corner.
That's what some people said in chat.
Maybe.
There is a green smudge there. That could be literally anything, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that
but-
seems like the appropriate scale, but it's so out of focus. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know
Like,
for sure.
How do you even?
By the way, sorry, Omega. It's similar to Dallas. I think I might need to head off as
Okay.
well.
Well, this is our last. This is our last Subterror Behemoth. I want to bring
Yeah.
up the field spell really quick, but I can do that while I do the outro shenanigans. So yeah,
I
it sounds
gotta
like
drop
well, it's
off.
not super late. Everybody's going to bed. It's fine because we're done. So be sure to thank everybody for coming. Talk about all that
Thanks to
stuff.
everyone for
Thanks.
showing up.
Thanks.
You know?
This
No,
has
I
been
meant
fun.
the audience should thank you guys because you guys are going
Yeah.
away. I'm gonna stick around for a while.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Have fun, Omega.
Yeah, because I gotta bring up the field spell. But yeah. So to round out Fail Portrayal really quick, because we've gotten through some interesting boss monsters. Yes, by the way, I am alone now, lonely in Discord. Only you chat for me. Well, I'm so glad that I managed to get this to work, maybe because it's the capitals, but also this is literally like a fantasy book title. Because this is their field spell, and you'll understand why everything's fucking green down here. This is the Hidden City. So clearly, right, we've talked about it, this archetype is a, like, classic dungeon crawler, beat-em-up type-ass game. Oh, okay, I get it now. I get it why they're named after that. I didn't realize before. So in Japanese, they came up with a pun because they're animals. The Japanese name for this card, which was just called the Hidden City, when it was originally printed in the Dark Illusion, which is where it's from originally. But when it was translated in Japanese, this is Shambhala of the Mediterranean world. Get it, guys? Mediterranean, middle of the earth. So, yeah, that's why everything is like the Adriatic Sea, the Balearic Islands. They named it after our shit in the Mediterranean Sea. I think that kind of kills the flavor of the monsters, but it's a very funny pun for the field spell. But, yeah, so this is the Subterror field spell. This is very clearly, somebody said it just in the chat. This is the hub area. So this is you know, in your Castlevania type thing or whatever, like and you can even see it's even got all these little like ultra skinny lines. You clearly go here and you leave by one of the routes. You can see the volcano zone in the background. Some of these look suspiciously like modern skyscrapers, which is a little weird. Yeah, you can see the volcano in the background. You can see some other stuff. So this is a good element. What this does is, when this card is activated, add a Subterror monster from your deck to your hand. Very common for field spells. Once per turn, change one face-down defense position, Subterror monster you control to face-up attack position. Once per turn, when opponent monster declares an attack, change one face-down defense position, Subterror monster to face-up attack position. Then negate the attack. You can only activate one Hidden City per turn. So basically, this is an engine that kind of helps the deck go. When you play it, you get to search one of the Subterrors you need. You can use it to flip up a face-down defense position monster and activate its effect, while also giving it room to reset. So, You can, use this to kind of amplify your plays. If you've already special summoned a monster and face down, you can immediately flip them up to get their effect. And then once per turn, when your opponent monster declares an attack, you can change a face down Subterror monster to face up attack. So obviously, attack negation's not the most primo effect, but it definitely lets you go like, oh, you're attacking my like Ultra Mophus or my Stalagmo or my other like big attack monster. Let me use Hidden City, flip it up, negate the attack, and be in attack position, and also, get my flip effect off. It's pretty alright. There are some spell traps, but all of them are just action shots, right? You do get to see like some more emphasis on like the boss arena type stuff in a couple of them. There's a close-up shot of Stalagmo that might make him look slightly less derpy. But they do have a decent number of spell trap supports. But like I said, most of them are just action scenes. Subterror's Succession is just Guru literally giving his cloak to Warrior. One that might be relevant is Subterror Behemoth Burrowing, because that just shows you what was his face? Uastrix does, because it's like burrowing through the ground, Tremor style. But it's a deck I really like. The guys are saying they had a lot of fun earlier as well. So it's pretty fun. Yeah, you can't search it off Guru. I assume that's intentional because it searches. So, yeah, that would be cool as like the secret, the secret next level one. Because hypothetically, oh, okay. They haven't actually done a level 13 yet. Interesting. I know that there are Xyz which are like use level 13 monsters or not, because you actually rank them up. It's very interesting they haven't done that yet. Anyway, but yeah, that could be a funny card, or maybe like a higher level link, out of Fiendus. But yeah, they're an archetype that I think are pretty interesting with their design aesthetics. Like, I like what they're going for here. At some point, we will do Spiral, which came out around the same time, and was another really interesting archetype that was way more meta because it was way more fucking busted. I guess because it was playable in links as opposed to because that interacted with spying on your opponent's top deck and funny stuff like that. Whereas Subterror is about like monsters being flipped face down and then being revealed to be huge bosses and fighting them and stuff. Which, like I said, was super killed by links. Super dead by links. So, I don't know. Maybe they could come back. I wouldn't mind if they got a new wave of support, if the TCG was thinking out there. I would prefer it to... I like their mechanics better than... Yeah, they don't have all the types. There's a lot of funny stuff they could still do. They could do a machine, for instance, if that's not crazy. Do they actually have... No. I presume it's because there are probably a lot of high-level supports for... Well, okay, Guru is a dragon. I guess that makes sense. They kind of cut the corner there with Guru being a dragon. But they don't have a fish, for instance, which they could easily do, right? Because Stygia Kraken is a sea serpent and Phosphor Glacier is an aqua. They could do an actual fish type one, like a giant fish. Watch him be called Leviathan to Bach Dallas. There's a lot of funny stuff they could do there. They could add some extra Subterror Nemesises, because I would say they probably do need some slightly better small ones, because like Defender and Archer and Warrior have their purposes, but low level ones you really, really need are Guru and Fiendus. So like I wouldn't mind if they got him in there. It would certainly be more productive than what they did with Warrock over 2 phases. Not gonna shame anybody who does Warrock, but it's definitely like a deck that everybody thought could be cool and rogue, but it's actually not that good. The only way Warrock wins is if your opponent doesn't read the cards. It's probably because the Kaiju insect already exists, but yeah, no, an insect, much like Uru we saw tonight, a giant spider, or maybe like a giant scorpion or something. You could make insect work. That would be pretty fun, especially as an earth type. There's a lot of interesting things I think you could do. And certainly this would have synergy because with that old spider cards we talked about a little bit, which require you and your opponent's monsters to be in defense mode. A like Subterror Behemoth, spider thing could be funny. They got some stuff. But yeah, I like this archetype a lot. And because they weren't in the anime, they can't be counted on as support like Earthbound's. Though, like I want to say, Earthbound had like Earthbound servants in Arc V. I would not be shocked if some of those monsters came out because I read their effects. They're not actually awful. So let's hope for some more Earthbound Immortal support and some more Subterra support in the future, kids. I am going to let you off right now. Yes, they could easily do Wing Beast as Archer's little bird. That'd be another obvious one. But yeah, so I'm going to let you guys off here. Tomorrow we're going to be shooting our next progression tournament. It will be Light of Destruction, the last episode in the GX era, and then we move on to 5Ds. So that will be pretty fun for us to check out for y'all. And we're probably going to have a little bit of a longer episode, even though one of our players currently doesn't have internet, so we don't know if they're going to make it to the tournament tomorrow. We'll, arrange things as we can. We will probably have a slightly longer episode because we're going to talk about some new rules changes we're going to implement. Well, we're just recording it whenever. You guys will see it public, released Friday. We're shooting late at night, like as late as this stream went, if not later. If we get finished early, we might come back for another fail portrayal. I have no idea what on earth we would fail portray, but we could happen. We'll see if everybody's awake. I'll talk to you guys then. Light Sworn the Banning. All right, yeah. Light Sworn the Banning or Honest the Banning. Several spoilers. Several people in the format have the double Honest, so Honest may be taking a nap for a little bit. He might be going to jail. We would probably have to do at least two things if we did do Sky Strikers. We debated that heavily before we did this. But Sky Strikers are definitely a very repetitive aesthetic. I don't know if there's a lot for us to talk about. We would probably burn through it very fast, other than yelling at Engage. Yeah, we could absolutely do that. We'll have to see what happens. Though Robin's very excited for that. Robin wasn't here for this one, but if Robin's not there as well, I don't know if we'll do that. Robin likes the Sky Strikers. Also, that would give Robin an opportunity to yell about Engage at 3. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this failed portrayal. I will see you guys next time, whenever that is. Oh god, there's a lot of Light Sworns, but if Light Sworn's not on the list, we should do it. I'll double check. I gotta edit the list after this to like scratch some stuff out. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned for Light of Destruction at the end of this week and for future developments as well. And other videos and stuff. I'll see y'all. It's time to end the stream. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys.